We're in here. We are back. It's fourth year doing this. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. She's Alexis Kraft. And, well, you signed up to have us for your next 3 days, if you want us, of course. But, Alexis, I'm glad to be doing this. As you know, I've been talking nonstop, and I feel like I'll be having some fun. I'll be able to kick back. And I think by the time we get to day 3, we'll both be ordering pizza and just totally out of it at that point. So it's always a pleasure, and I appreciate you wanting to do this and run it back with me again.
Of course, this is our fourth year in a row. I mean, this is our annual draft day tradition now.
It
We
is.
do this, talk about pizza every year. On day 3, I order a pizza that makes the internet hate me. So I'm going to do that again
Just a
this
little
year.
bit.
Um, some people call it psycho. I call it delicious, whatever. But I'm glad to be here, Jake. I mean, every year we talk about the draft. It seems like the entire NFL season, pretty much. We're just into it. We enjoy it, and now it's finally here. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this year has a very weird energy with this draft. It's very unusual. I feel like nobody knows what to expect. A lot of people aren't as high on this class as in previous years. I have to say, out of all the years you and I have been doing this, this is probably the class I'm least high on. I think there are going to be some hidden gems later on, but what do you think?
So what I'll say is this, okay? And other people in the comment section asking to turn your mic up a little bit. So I just want to make
Okay.
sure that everyone can hear you. Remember, we went through that the day one in my office and no one could hear my mic, and I didn't find that out until the next day. Uh, yeah, so I agree with you. And going through this class, well, to an extent, I think this class, and I'm looking at it right now. I got my board. You guys can download it or, just bring it up. I'll have the link in the description. But, I'm looking at my board and like a Bryce Young, for instance, I have an early first round grade on. I don't always have early first round grades on quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, first round grades, mid to late. I love the potential of Anthony Richardson, so I like that. Running backs, I have 2 first round grades on when it comes to Bijan Robinson and Jamir Gibbs. And where'd you go? Let's see. We seem to have lost Alexis already due to technical difficulties, so she'll be back in. Um, hey, what is the live stream without its technical difficulties? Am I right? Right, Alexis?
Always.
Like,
Always.
come
Hold
on.
on. I was trying to fix my sound. You guys have to let me know how I sound. I was trying to fix my sound, and all of a sudden,
The pizza got to her.
I haven't had the
Oh,
pizza yet. That's
I
a day
know.
3.
It's
I
it's
have to.
just a meme at this point.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, we always have on day 1, Jake. Is it not always day 1 that something crazy happens? You
Always.
mentioned it earlier. It was the second year, so 2021, that I was in New York. Is when we had Adam with us, and we had to use the shotgun mic. Like we
It's
had
not a
3
shotgun mic.
mics.
We had to turn a dynamic microphone, which is a short range like this, into a shotgun mic. So I cranked the gain, and it sounded like I was talking in the back hallway.
It
So
was a
I don't know.
nightmare. Yeah,
It's
it's always the first day. I think the internet just wants to test us. They want to see our resolve, and then our
my
technology decides to
God.
work.
So it looks like the
My sound
still.
is still low. Okay,
You know
I'm
what? I
afraid to.
think I might be able to crank it on my side. Let me
Yeah.
yeah, I can adjust your mic actually. Oh crap.
Okay. Let's let Jake do that because clearly when I try, everything shuts down. So
Guys, is that better?
yeah, let
I
me know
want
if
to I want to see thumbs up emojis if it's better. If you're on the phone, I'm not going to have you try to figure that out on a computer. I still can't figure that out.
yeah, I just let me know how I sound. I need you guys to hear me, not just watch me. That'd be painful. But it's funny, Jake and I were talking about so the draft technically starts at 8 Eastern, but it really starts at 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah.
It never starts. Everyone's saying it sounds good. Yay! Thank God. Thank God.
Yep. Now I can add to my resume audio engineer.
Yeah. You really can. So what's wild, guys, is you'll have to forgive me if I am trying to get settled in for a little bit. Our camera's flipped, and Jake gets so annoyed hearing me complain about it all the time. But it psychs me out when I look. My monitor's on my laptop, right? So that's where I see all your guys' comments on my laptop. That's where I see Jake and I, and it's flipped. So I'm always very confused. It's a pet peeve of mine. They're saying, Jake, it sounds good, but your voice is significantly louder.
Oh, that's normally not the case. So let me.
They've got on the TV. So I don't know if you guys are just watching us and you're also watching the stream. But they've got 2 Chiefs fans up there who are celebrities. They've got, I think her name is Heidi Gardner. I could be wrong, from Saturday Night Live. And they've got Eric Stonestreet, both big Chiefs fans.
Okay, so they're kicking off the draft because it's in Kansas City. That makes sense. Sense. Just in case anyone wants to follow along, I have a big board which has the NFL big board. It's got my full board. It's got a color board. Everyone loves the color coordination there. I have those. And I have a Rams regular board and a Rams color coordinated board. And I have NFL team needs board. And that I am posting in the comments. I guess I post on yours, Alexis. Now we just spammed it. Apparently I hit one and it sends a comment for all 3 of the channels that we're on. We're on Alexis's channel on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to her channel. We're on my channel. We're also on the Downtown Rams Network channel. So be sure to subscribe to all those if you haven't already. I assume one of those you're probably subscribed to, but if you could bring us all together, it'd be great.
Yeah, would appreciate it, guys. And I think someone in the comment asked, who are those people on the screen? So like I said, I think her name is Heidi Gardner. She's on Saturday Night Live. And then Eric Stonestreet is an actor, most famously from Modern Family. But they are both Chiefs fans. I think they're both from, I know Eric's from the Kansas City area. I assume Heidi is also. But someone said they booed Goodell. Thank you for telling me that, because I can't hear it because I have it muted. So that way there's not feedback. There's Patrick Mahomes coming out.
I got all sorts of stuff going on. Like we have this, I have that on the TV over there, and I got the Devils playoff game against the Rangers on my iPad. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens.
Well, I have just 2. I've got the YouTube chat up so I could see what people are saying, and then I have the draft on TV. But as you guys know, if you've tuned into our streams before, my job is the tracker. Like, I follow on Twitter a lot of the accounts that leak the picks quick. So if you don't want to see the pick like a minute early, then sorry.
Yeah,
we usually have them before the stream does. Because the NFL stream is actually like behind a little, so you have all the reporters and everyone at the NFL draft sharing the picks with everybody before they actually announce it on the TV, and that hits Twitter first. So
yeah, no, you're right, and I will say anybody who tips picks is a real MVP, because that means you don't listen to authority. Because I know Goodell is going around like, no, you can't do that. And for the people that are still going to tip the picks, we appreciate you, because I can just tell you right now, like the draft, it's never consistent. And as much as they've created an event out of it, all due respect, like I appreciate that. It's really cool. But why does it take so long for us to know the picks? Why is it that Twitter will get 2 picks ahead of the TV? The TV's got to catch up. They got to do better. I know they're on a tape delay. I know they have to be on a tape delay in case anybody cusses on air or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like that's, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, Jake, the good news is that the Panthers are officially on the clock.
They've been on the clock according to our graphic at the bottom.
Well, they're officially on the clock. They've got about 9 minutes left. So who do you think it is? I mean, we both think it's the same person, but
I'll tell you what. I'm going to put it up right now. That's who I think it is. The latest selection. Panthers select Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, number 1. That's what I think.
If they don't, everybody needs to delete the footage of this moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much a given at this point, but
I mean, it is pretty much a given. The only wild card that I could see would be Anthony Richardson. But I think it's Bryce Young.
I think you and I kind of talked ourselves out of that, but I think we were definitely on the same page when that was happening for sure.
I just felt like that would be a very Panthers-esque move to go and get like Anthony Richardson. It just felt, kind of like Cam Newton again. But I think the consensus is it's going to be Bryce Young, and I really hope it's Bryce because they've got a ton of cameras in his face at the draft right now.
That would be so awkward, man.
Garrett said, imagine this doesn't age well. I mean, a lot of people are going to have a lot of tweets to delete if the Panthers don't take Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about this.
I'm not worried about it either.
No.
Now, the Panthers are interesting because they did sign Andy Dalton, which obviously they're still taking a quarterback, but they've got Andy Dalton, Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark. They're kind of setting up what is that?
I was about to die laughing when he put that out there. Like, you have to be kidding me. That's hilarious. Decaf Levis. Mayonnaise and decaf Levis. Oh my God.
Someone in the chat, Blake in the chat, thinks they're taking CJ Stroud. There was a period of time where I was drafting CJ Stroud to the Panthers when they traded for number 1 overall, because there was a brief moment in time where I think people kind of liked Stroud more than Young. But I also think that happens every year with the quarterbacks, is like sometimes when there's an obvious number 1 quarterback, people try to convince themselves really hard that it's somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and I've said this to Jake, and I'll say it to you guys, I think it is very close between Young and Stroud. And maybe I'm now in the minority in that, but it's not Will Levis, I'll tell you that. It's not Will Levis, Jake. It's not. He's not him.
You're pronouncing that name, and it's just,
Me?
Yes, it's
just
Levis.
Levis? That shows you how little I've, ever since I saw the video with the mayonnaise and the banana thing,
You're just like, nah, I'm out.
I have not watched a single video about him.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. Now, I don't want to, hate on the guy. I don't want to come off like I'm hating on the guy, because I'm not. I just think putting mayonnaise in your coffee will get you scrutinized, just like your pizza.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he stands by it like I stand by my pizza order, so I respect that, but it makes me uncomfortable. So yeah. I cannot watch it. It just sends like a chill down my spine when I see him putting mayonnaise in his coffee.
Oh, and the other thing that apparently, and I'm not a medical expert, but eating banana peels can cause glaucoma, apparently. And he eats banana peels. So I'm like, why would you openly give yourself glaucoma? If that's true, why would you do that?
So that's almost like a red flag, I think, for NFL teams, right? If
right?
they think the guy they're drafting is going to get early onset glaucoma. I don't know if that's true. I'm just trusting you on what you're saying, that people are saying. I'm not a doctor, so
yeah, no, I'm not a professional in that field at all. And if anybody cuts this up and says, "Oh, he's spreading falsities," I'll just say no, because I literally prefaced it by saying I'm not a doctor and I don't even know if this is true, but I've heard. Oh man,
a Google search could cure that. I'm not going to do it right now, but
it's not worth a Google search. I'll be honest with you, not right now anyway. Like, it's draft night and everything. I think Levis goes 12th overall. I think he goes to the Texans, and I think it's 12th overall.
I think, well, that's my second choice. And by the way, in the Panthers war room, everyone's like patting each other on the back, so they've clearly made the pick. It hasn't been announced that the pick is in, but
They made the pick when they traded up.
well, right. They've been told they're the number one overall pick. They're always told to milk the clock. And I don't know why. I don't know why, because it's like the first round is long enough for one round, right? It's like we sit here for 4 hours, so it's like get the show on the road. I don't know why, and especially everyone there has been there all day partying.
Oh,
so
I know.
They're basically like, let's get going, but NFL has their reasons.
NFL has
Someone
their reasons.
said Levis just fits the AFC South. That's true.
Yeah, I like, in my honest opinion, I have a late second round grade on Levis. And I think while he gets excuses for so and so this and so that, I think at the end of the day, you could make the argument that not having Wan'Dale Robinson hurt him, but I honestly think that's a little scary, because I think maybe it says more to how dynamic and how good of a receiver Wan'Dale Robinson was last year. Plus, I don't see dominance on tape with Levis, and I see a lot of, short and not even intermediate, just really the short game. If you look at his heat map for like where he would throw the ball, it's all like right behind the line of scrimmage. That's concerning to me, Alexis. If I need a franchise quarterback to read the field and make, deep throws down the field, and he's got this cannon of an arm, but he's not the most he's an athlete, don't get me wrong. He's not the most accurate, but then I see him settling for all of those dump offs. I don't know if I'm getting a guy like that in the first round.
Well, the pick is in. It's not officially announced. What's interesting is Shams, the NBA reporter Shams.
Oh, yeah.
He tweeted 10 minutes ago that the Carolina Panthers had picked Bryce Young per his sources, which might be a troll because he's the NBA guy, but yet why even tweet that if it's not true?
Didn't he do that last year, though? Like where he started tipping picks? I don't know. Maybe this guy's the total package and he's trying to take over the world. He's like Thanos. Next, he's going to cover hockey. Like,
maybe. He's just going to do it all. A real Renaissance man.
Connor Hughes of SNY TV, sources tell SNY TV the Panthers selected quarterback Bryce Young. So
there you go.
So there it is. I was right. Let's go.
Yep.
And Bryce is my guy because I like Alabama, and I love Bryce Young. I've been singing his praises for a while. He's the best quarterback in the draft. And I will say, if Anthony Richardson reaches that full potential, he's going to be on the level, not necessarily Patrick Mahomes, but he will be a step below that. I think he'll be in that second tier. And I think he's going to be phenomenal. But Bryce Young, to me, is somebody that comes in day one and he can start for you. Like day one. You don't have to worry about sitting him for 2 years or anything like that. Bryce Young's going to come in. He's going to play his style of football. I think the coaches will want him to run a little bit more. He's got this, athletic ability that I just don't think he uses enough on film. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that'll keep him healthy. But, he's the first Alabama player taken, Alabama quarterback taken since Joe Namath. So, it's been quite a while, and I believe, that was 1965. So yeah, I mean,
sounds right. Yeah, well that pick is a surprise to no one. So what I'm interested in now, Jake, is where things get interesting is now the Houston Texans are on the clock, right? And this is the pick that nobody is really sure what's going to happen. I mean, a lot of people think if they make the pick, it's going to be Will Anderson, because supposedly the Texans are not super high on any of the quarterbacks this year. Now, I don't know if I buy it. It could be a smokescreen, but they haven't given us any indication that they'll take a quarterback. A lot of people think they've been trying to trade out of this pick. And Jake, you and I both think the Titans are going to trade up for a quarterback. I think that they're either going to trade here with Houston or they're going to trade number 3 with Arizona. I think probably more likely they're going to trade, with Arizona if they trade up, because we know that the Colts want a quarterback at 4. So I'm very curious to see what the Texans are going to do. My gut tells me it's either Will Anderson or CJ Stroud here. What do you think?
So I've seen a lot of Tyree Wilson, and I just want to, emphasize that earlier, I think it was today or whatever, my guy Joe DeLeon of Believe talked to one of the former NFL physicians, and he was talking the Pro Football Doc on Twitter. He's huge. And he was raising some concerns about Tyree Wilson's injury. He had a Lis Frank fracture dislocation, and he's absolutely draftable because of it. And he's a great talent, but this is the biggest injury medical issue at the top of the NFL draft, injury analysis wise. So because of that, I don't think he's the pick, but I do think it's Will Anderson, although I'm wrong because apparently it's CJ Stroud.
Is it?
That's what I just read.
Is it confirmed, guys?
So
I'm not seeing it, but also Twitter timeline lately is not as
Connor Hughes, who was obviously around the first pick, according to SNY TV. SNY TV looks like they're the go-to. They're killing it. Shout out to them. Because Connor Hughes was the first on it. I'm following all sorts of reporters and everything, and Connor Hughes had it first with CJ Stroud.
Stroud. Okay,
so,
that's not surprising. CJ Stroud is my number 2 quarterback. Like I said, I had him very close with Bryce Young. I know everyone wants to talk about the test. I kind of agree that's a little concerning. That was eventually what put Bryce Young at number 1 for me. A lot of people, I think, as we got closer to the draft, wanted to say that Richardson, was above Stroud. Levis, was above Stroud. But I don't ever think that was the case, and we're seeing it now. CJ Stroud is a Houston Texan.
Yeah, so unless Connor Hughes is dead wrong.
No, he's.
But no,
I don't
he's
think
right.
he is. I'm seeing other people report on it now. Jake, do the Cardinals trade number 3?
I mean, right now, I think it just got pretty. It was already valuable before, but now it's like I feel like you can kind of leverage the Colts. Like, hey, if you want Anthony Richardson here, you better trade up to 3, or we're going to send this to the Titans. So I definitely think it's possible that
I think so
they could
too.
Leverage them into a 1-pick trade. I also know if Chris Ballard likes Will Levis enough, he's not going to be leveraged into that. He'll just be like, all right, you do you.
Well,
we'll stay here at 4.
Well, the Colts really do like Levis, supposedly, right? That's what the rumor is. So then the question becomes, if that's true, is there another team that likes Levis more that is willing to trade with Arizona to get him? I don't believe that's the case. I don't think that, I think if anybody's trading up for anybody, it's Anthony Richardson. I don't foresee anybody trading up for Levis to number 3. Someone mentioned in the chat how supposedly Tennessee and Arizona have been in a lot of communication today that's been reported about that number 3 pick because Tennessee is wanting to draft a quarterback. But I also heard that Tennessee wanted Stroud. So now Stroud's gone. So maybe that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. It's certainly interesting. I think if they're willing, because I know they were dangling Ryan Tannehill and whatnot, but if they're willing to sit on Ryan Tannehill another year, Anthony Richardson's a no-brainer to go up and get him, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing anything yet about Arizona trading. it definitely is going to come down to the wire, I think, if that's the case, because their pick is not in and they haven't traded.
Yeah, I think back to my point earlier that I was making about Tyree Wilson, I think that'll cause him to fall. I don't think he'll go 3. I've also been seeing a lot of Paris Johnson here. That seems way too high. I don't think that we have a top 5 guard in this draft. I think Skoronski's the closest, but I think there's going to be a lot of teams that view him as a guard. And so because of that, I think he might fall a little bit. But I have Paris Johnson going to the Bears at 9. I think they need to get, they doubled down on Justin Fields essentially by trading down. So they need to get him some help and protect him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've like a lot of people know I watch all the Bears games. I live in Chicago. That's our local team. So they're always on the local channels. I watched a lot of Justin Fields, and he played incredible with 0 offensive line, right? You watch what Justin Fields did. Imagine what you can do if you actually gave him time. So I think that the Bears hopefully recognize that. I think it will also cause a lot more protection in a lot of different areas. He's not going to have to run like crazy anymore if he can actually have time to pass. So I would like to see them take Johnson, but my preference for the Bears would be Skoronski because he's from the Chicago area. He played college in Chicago, and I'd love to see him become a Bear because that's his hometown team. So I love.
I have him going to the Raiders at 7. That's the only reason I didn't give him to the Bears.
Yeah, well, either one of those picks I'll like for the Bears. I just would like Skoronski for the story.
You like those stories.
I do. I love those connections, don't I?
You do.
I love
definitely
them. I'm
do.
obsessed with them. Every year I'm on these streams and I'm like trying to reunite college, which is why I'm going to say I think the Texans might also draft Jackson Smith, the wide receiver. Jackson Smith. I'm forgetting his last name.
Njigba?
Yes, out of Ohio State and reunite him with CJ Stroud in Houston. Just letting you know if it happens, that's my prediction. They might have to trade up though.
I definitely saw that in the comment section as well. So I don't think that you are alone in thinking that.
Garrett, you're right. Garrett said Alexis can't resist the hometown story. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. It's my favorite. I love to see it. Arizona.
Shout out to you guys, by the way. 141 people are live in here.
Yes. Thank you guys.
So that's pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. I'm just saying.
And feel free to drop the picks in the chat if we're behind on it. I'm just not seeing. Now, again, my Twitter profile, like our home screen, isn't really updating. But Twitter's kind of been acting weird, the home pages. But Arizona has not made the pick yet.
It's funny because I already followed Connor Hughes for Jets, covering the Jets. So the fact that I just happen to have the guy that's, Well,
I just followed him so that way I could see if. But he hasn't tweeted yet either.
I put his notifications on, so I was like, oh, crap. Yeah.
I will say that I think the no-brainer pick right here for Arizona, if they're making the pick, is Will Anderson. As much as I don't want him to be in the NFC West, I think the no-brainer pick is Will Anderson here, and that's what I think who they're gonna pick if they don't trade.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think it is a no-brainer pick, but I think if they do trade down, that also makes sense too, because if they trade down, they have a lot of ground to cover. They're probably going to trade DeAndre Hopkins. They're probably going to move on from some of these guys, and they lost Budda Baker. They're going to lose Budda Baker. Okay, they're trading the pick.
Where'd you see that?
Connor. The Texans have just traded up.
Wait, the Texans are picking 2 and 3?
Yeah, they're just like, we want everybody.
Is it going to be Jackson? It might be Will Anderson.
There's no way it's Jackson Smith and Njigba. This is Will Anderson. No doubt about it. This has to be.
It is Will Anderson.
Yep.
It's Will Anderson. Confirmed.
Hold on a sec. Shams just said that Arizona's picking Will Anderson. And Adam Schefter said they just traded. No, the Texans picked Will Anderson.
Ian just said the Arizona Cardinals are trading with the Texans.
Yeah, there's multiple people. So yeah, Shams, stay in your lane, my guy.
Stick to basketball, man.
We love you for basketball. Let's just keep you there.
Wow.
I love this. This is this right here is telling me that the Texans aren't taking this in stride. Okay, they're not going to wait. They're going to take advantage, and they're going to try to compete this year. They're going to try to win the division this year. This is what this tells me, and I like that. And I think the Texans fans deserve that, because after the whole Deshaun Watson debacle, this is a really good move, I think, for the Texans. I think people disagree with it. I think there are a lot of people that thought, okay, JSN at 12, that makes a lot of sense. I mentioned they stay at 12 for Will Levis. You get the best pass rusher in the draft, bar none, in Will Anderson Jr. I mean, looking at my big board right now, like, he's my 3rd overall player in the draft. So you get him at 3. I really like this for them. And I gotta say, that I appreciate the strong arm.
Thank you, Houston Texans, for keeping Will Anderson out of the NFC West.
Yes,
I appreciate
that's
you.
another thing.
Big ups, Houston. They really did us a solid because, obviously they traded with Arizona because that's who Arizona would take if they made the pick. So an alliance has been formed today with Los Angeles Rams fans and the Houston Texans. That's all I can say. Let me open your guys' chat. Someone said the Cardinals are stupid. I kind of agree. But that means the Cardinals.
Oh, I don't know. This is Alexis. This is a hefty trade. So the Cardinals are getting pick 12, obviously, the trade down. They're getting 33. They're getting a 1st in 2024 and a 3rd in 2024. The Texans are getting a 105 in return with the 3. I like this a lot for both sides. I think this is one of those rare both teams won. Like I said, I think that Arizona, they desperately need to add more to their team. This is the best way to cover ground.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, got to give credit. I'm watching now on the screen Will Anderson. So happy when he got drafted. Hey, Will Anderson's going from playing with Bryce Young to now playing with CJ Stroud. So that means that the Colts are on the clock, and Jake, is it going to be Levis?
I'm going to say it's Anthony Richardson here. It fell perfectly for the Colts to just pick Anthony Richardson. And I know that there's a lot of people saying, Will Levis is like minus 1,400 are the odds. I'm going against the crazy odds there. I'm gonna say it's Anthony Richardson. I'm absolutely wrong, probably, because Vegas doesn't lie, but I'm gonna stick by it. I don't know how you pass Anthony Richardson. You have Gardner Minshew. He can start this year. That's why you got him. It doesn't make sense to go out and get Will Levis, and I don't think he's ready either. But I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Richardson.
I agree. Would y'all mind and let me know if you can hear me eating my dinner, which is going to be a small little bite of this 100 calorie protein bar. And so I was at work. I came straight from work and I have not eaten today. Jake, the Colts took Anthony Richardson.
Evan.
It kind of
That's
makes sense though, because
that
before
they did, right? Like
they took Anthony
did.
Richardson. And you know why that kind of makes sense is because if you think about it, whenever all the talk about the Colts taking Levis occurred, everyone just assumed that Richardson was going to go be traded. Someone was going to trade for him, and he was going to go number 3. So
Dude,
I guess I wasn't thinking about the fact that
I love this. I really love this. Alexis,
he's better than Levis, so I love it for the Colts.
So first off, he's better than Levis. Okay, second, my guy Evan, he's a really good friend of mine. We talk all the time. Shout out to him. He's a Colts fan. He's been on Anthony Richardson. He's been telling me to watch this guy since November. Okay, Evan Shefkowitz, I love you, bro. But I am so happy for him right now because he just got a franchise quarterback who can sit behind Gardner Minshew, like I was saying. He has the highest upside in the entire draft, regardless of position. Okay. And I'm just so glad that Chris Ballard didn't just pick Levis, right? He actually went and he just stayed there, right? We talked about that. He didn't get leverage to move up to 3. He picks the best overall player at that position at that point based on all the potential. I absolutely love this for the Colts. In 2 years, he could end up being an absolute star. And I think he's going to be. I really believe that because everyone's like, oh, he's a 1-year starter. Oh, the accuracy concerns. You just say he's a 1-year starter. So meaning he's going to get a lot better when he gets a chance to play, And the way I look at it, Jonathan Taylor, Alec Pierce, right? Pittman, right? I really like what the Colts are doing here by going out and getting him. And I'm very excited for him. And he's saying, he's in the comment section right now, like, I'm a cry. Yeah. Okay. This is a freaking win, my friend. This is my favorite pick in the draft. I love what the Texans did, basically just stiff arming the division and be like, you know what? Stiff arm the entire draft. Be like, we're just going to go out and get the best pass rusher after getting the second best quarterback, And now the Colts are like, we're just going to sit here and take Anthony Richardson. You can kiss those Vegas odds. And Alexis, I did go against minus 1,400 Vegas odds. I said it on here. I said they're still going to pick Anthony Richardson. I freaking love this. I love this pick.
I love this pick for the Colts too. And that means that my 1, 2, and 3 quarterback went in order. So if I'm going off my rankings, Jake, Levis will be the next quarterback taken. Do you think that will be the case?
He will be the next quarterback taken. I don't, at this point in time, right? I don't know what that looks like necessarily. Because like what I had on my board is at pick 5, I had the Seahawks getting Jalen Carter. I wouldn't be shocked if the Seahawks traded down. I wouldn't be shocked if the Seahawks traded down, took Levis. I think they're going to take Jalen Carter here, though, because I think they need to. Poona Ford's still a free agent. They need to bolster that defensive line. So that's where I think he's going.
I think that this is going to be Jalen Carter as well. But so I don't think either one of us buy the rumors that he's sliding in the draft.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
I'm not saying that they're
too good of a prospect.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be Jalen Carter. But we'll see. Although my mind is slipping. Who didn't the Seahawks actually just sign a defensive lineman, big free agent, or am I making that up? Because I'm kind of feeling like I remember. Seahawks are still on the clock, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, the Seahawks are still on the clock. And I forgot to update the ticker because I was going nuts. That's one of my favorite players in this draft by far, but favorite prospects. I think he's going to be an absolute stud, and I think Colts fans are going to love him. And Dawson Mercer just scored a goal. And what? Well, now we're cooking with gas. Devils are up 2-0. Anthony Richardson's a Colt. Evan is also a Devils fan, so he's probably going absolutely crazy. Yep. This night has me ascending.
Rightfully so.
I love it. I love it. So, yeah, man. I mean, now the reality is we have a lot of Rams fans in here, and Jalen Carter's probably going to be in the NFC West.
I was just about to say, I'm trying to see if the pick is in yet, because here we are celebrating that Will Anderson won't be in the NFC West, but then it's like, okay, maybe no Will Anderson, but now we got to worry about Jalen Carter. But Jake, Ian Rappaport is reporting that Seattle's phones are ringing off the hook. Or what do you say? The phones are ringing in Seattle. Someone's trying to trade up, Jake.
Who do you think that would be? The Titans? Will Levis here?
I could see the Titans or
I'm not trying
Vegas.
to turn him into the next DK Metcalf, because the real ones know. We were like, is DK Metcalf going to go here? Is DK Metcalf going to go here? Why is DK Metcalf not going here? Like, you know.
Well, I think it could be the Titans, probably. I think if the Titans liked Levis, this could probably be their shot, where they're trying to bypass Detroit and Vegas, although I don't think Detroit was ever going to take a quarterback this high, but I don't know. But I think Tennessee is probably trying to get up ahead of Vegas, because Vegas very well could take a quarterback. So that's my assumption of who's trying to trade up right now, if Seattle trades the pick, because we don't know for sure. We just know that people are trying. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. All the Rams fans want Seattle to mess up this pick.
No, Seattle is mulling moving down.
Well, I think that, again, if they do move down, I think then it warrants a little bit that conversation that Jalen Carter is slipping. Because I think it would be also we need to figure out, maybe I should look up Seattle's depth chart. Jake, do you have that in front of you?
I can pull that up
in one monitor. Because I do believe that they actually did sign a defensive lineman free agent, and maybe I'm wrong on that. But if they didn't, then Jalen Carter's a no-brainer. So if they're not taking Jalen Carter, then in my mind it's because that talk is true, when people were saying that teams are not super psyched to draft him.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense. I can understand, because of everything that happened, like how he showed up like overweight, and obviously the reckless driving that led to a fatality of somebody. Like, totally understand that. It's tough, because I think they need a defensive lineman right now. I mean, Brian Moan is they just don't have a lot in their defensive line, is my point, because it's Brian Moan, Draymond Jones, Jaron Reed, and Miles Adams. Like, to me, this is a no-brainer. You pick him and you move on. But if he does fall and they trade down, like, okay, but I don't know.
Someone in the chat said Draymond Jones. Is that true, Jake? Are you looking at their depth chart?
Yeah, he's on their team. Oh, that's who you were talking about earlier. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out. I just named him.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be the only reason where maybe they're not that, Draymond Jones is the type of prospect that Jalen Carter is, but maybe the Seahawks are just kind of like thinking that it's not as big of a need.
Yeah, because, I mean, they got Draymond Jones in free agency. Or no, they got Draymond Jones. He was in Denver. Yeah, they signed him on the 23rd of March. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like their secondary. They could go corner later on, but that's not.
Well, but I just don't think they're going to take a corner high, because they had, I mean, talk about outstanding rookie years. Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant for Seattle played very well. So I don't foresee Seattle taking a corner high. They're going
And
to
they
let
have
them.
their 3 safeties set because they got they signed Julian Love. So they have Jamal Adams coming back from injury. They have Quandre Diggs. They're going to make the pick here. They came really close to trading it, but it looks like they're going to make the pick.
I mean, it's got to be Jalen Carter, right?
I've been saying it's Jalen Carter for weeks. I would be surprised if it's not.
I don't see why. Though, like I said, the only reason I see why it wouldn't be is
no, it is Devin Witherspoon, who is the best cornerback in this draft, in my opinion. This is A+ pick for Seattle, and I didn't even realize. Didn't even occur to me that they can make this. I love this pick, but I obviously don't love it because it's the NFC West. But it is a fantastic pick for Seattle. You're getting an absolute baller, coming out of Illinois. Obviously, I don't have to tell you that. But it's just, he is a very, very good talent. And I think it might be a little bit like he might have gone. No, I don't even think it's a reach. I think he's absolutely worth being the 5th overall selection. I had him going off the board at 6 to the Lions. That's who I would have drafted.
Though, I'm curious how they're going to design their secondary around this. They're going to move, because I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Don't they have... So they've got Woolen and Bryant. Now they've got Witherspoon. They've got Jamal Adams, Julian Love. It's an amazing set. I just think they probably had other needs. I mean, Witherspoon is an amazing talent, but I just don't... I think Jalen Carter just would have been...
They do pick at 20. So what I was thinking is, with them making this pick, they probably look at Adetomiwa Adebare from Northwestern, or Kalijah Cansey, or somebody like that. So, I mean, I could see them going in that direction. Poona Ford was an undersized defensive lineman. Maybe that's what they're looking for. And maybe the Jalen Carter buzz of him falling down the board is absolutely real. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But, I mean, Devin Witherspoon is a monster. Like, he's got... I compare him to Darius Slay. I thought he was 100% going to be there for the Lions. So this is a really good pick, I think, for Seattle. And adding him to a secondary now with Julian Love, with Jamal Adams, hopefully, he's the same guy coming off the injury. Tariq Woolen, Quandre Diggs, Kobe Bryant. I definitely see the need because Mike Jackson, Trey Brown, Isaiah Dunn, that makes a lot of sense to me to go out and get another guy there. And Julian Love is going to be more of a safety nickel guy. I think they might actually, Kobe Bryant isn't starting over Devin Witherspoon. So it's going to be Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen on the outside. And that is a nasty tandem.
Well, up next is the Detroit Lions, and I have them taking Christian Gonzalez. And I think I stand by that. I mean, obviously they could take somebody else, but that's who I think is going to Detroit. That's who I've... Especially now that they've traded Okudah.
Yeah, they moved Okudah to the Falcons. So I could see that as well. I could see them going Christian Gonzalez. I could see them trading down.
Jake, well, we avoided Will Anderson just to get Devon Witherspoon in our division.
I don't know if that's so. I don't know if I should say this, Alexis. I was gonna not say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Devon Witherspoon is my number 1 player in the entire draft.
Illinois, baby.
He had almost an entire point grade higher than my second best player in the draft, in Jalen Carter.
Well, I hate Seattle for making me have to cheer against him twice a year.
Yeah.
Bummer. What is it with Seattle always taking corners we like?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's getting to be kind of, What's the meme? I'm tired of living through all of these historical events. Like it's getting kind of old, like going through each draft and like, oh yeah, I like this corner. Oh, we'll just take that guy. Also, mind you, not to add too much fuel to the fire here, but Seattle's 5th overall pick was because of the Denver trade for Russell Wilson. And the 6th overall pick the Rams would have had was for Matthew Stafford. So I guess it's kind of the opposite, because if anything, I'm kind of trying to show you guys, like, the Russell Wilson trade always was a disaster. It was never going to work out. I said that. But my God, if you are a Broncos fan watching them pick at 5, not having a Super Bowl, not having really any sort of sense of direction, I'd be a little upset if I was a Denver fan right now watching Seattle get a guy like that off the board.
Oh. Gonna check the interwebs and see if Detroit's
the interwebs.
pick is in. The interwebs.
The interwebs. Yeah, at this point, who could Detroit even go after? I mean, it would have to be Gonzalez, right?
The only, unless they trade it with Tennessee, because I think this might be Tennessee's last chance to get.
Arizona's trading up to 6.
Arizona's
I wonder.
Trading to 6.
This is probably okay. This could be Jalen Carter. This could be Jalen Carter. So,
I think.
Yay, NFC West, Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon. Woo! Like, yeah, this is a smart move by the Lions. You know, you take a 6th overall pick, you move down, you get more picks down the road. I mean, they're already a team that's ready to compete, just stacking up. And you're moving down from 6. So where do the Cardinals, they trade with? So 12. So they're moving down 6 spots. This could be a decent return. Like, I totally understand this. We don't have a pick yet, though.
No, the pick isn't in, but it's got to be Jalen Carter. What do you guys think? Let's see what the chat thinks. Chat thinks it's Carter.
Detroit gets the 34th. Oh, my God. Detroit is going to get to pick before the Rams. 2 picks before the Rams. Oh,
Isn't
man.
everyone picking before the Rams, though, at this point?
No, I know, but just the fact that they moved up right in front of the Rams, that's going to sting. That I'm telling you, that's going to sting. They're going to get a guy that, yeah. It's to get the 34th pick, though. That's all that they're getting, which is really good. I mean, you're getting a 2nd rounder. This
think it's Paris Johnson.
Okay, so they did really like him. I saw the buzz on him, and I was a little confused by the 3rd overall pick hype. 6, I mean, that's interesting. I like Skoronski more, but I could see why. Like I was saying, I could see why teams like Paris Johnson more, because Skoronski, a lot of teams view as a guard, right? So I could see that.
We've avoided Jalen Carter. Dare I say it, for now.
For now. It makes sense to go and get Kyler Murray some help. I mean, he won't be playing half the season, but I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't know. I don't know that they must have thought the Raiders were going to take Paris Johnson. But now I'm bummed because maybe the Raiders take Skoronski, and I really want the Bears to get him.
I think the Raiders are taking Skoronski. You could argue they have a need at tackle and guard, so even if they look at him as a guard, he fits. Now, that's pretty high to pick.
I feel like the Raiders also would take Carter.
Well, they could. They definitely could. I mean, let's look at their thing here. So the Raiders, right now, their offensive line is Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, who was a 3rd rounder last year, Andre James, so they'll definitely need to upgrade center. Right guard is Alex Bars and Natani Muti, friend of the podcast. And Jermaine Illuminor and Brandon Parker make up their right tackle spot with Thayer Munford. To me, I think this is Skoronski. I would not be surprised. I know your mic's muted because you're chewing.
I just don't want it to be him because I want him to have that story. He wants to be a Bear. Chicago, trade up for him.
It's not happening.
Pain.
Honestly, Chicago might want to consider trading down because, I mean, that's way too high to take a tackle. Get more picks, you know. Trade down, get Broderick Jones or a Darnell Wright mid of the draft. Maybe pick up an additional second. You know, I think that'd be a interesting
I just
idea.
think that Jalen Carter makes so much sense for the Raiders.
They got Bilal Nichols from Chicago. They got Jerry Tillery from the Chargers via waivers. He's still on the roster. Neil Farrell last year, they spent a 4th round pick on. John Jenkins, Matt Butler, Adam Butler. I could see that. Yeah, I could see Jalen Carter. I don't think that they're locked into any of those guys, but I think it's Skoronski. And if it's not Skoronski, this could be, he could have a decent fall. And if it's not Jalen Carter, he could have a decent fall. You know,
I would be very shocked if Skoronski is there for Chicago and they don't take him. And not just because of the story, because I think Chicago, they know that they have to protect Justin Fields better. I mean, he has to build upon the success that he's had, and he's not going to do it with no offensive line. And he currently does not have an offensive line. I just don't see a situation where they pass on Skoronski if he's there. Now, if Skoronski's not there, maybe they don't, because after him, it'd be like a Broderick Jones. I think that's too high to take him. Maybe they trade down. Pick isn't in yet.
Oof. The criminal squad about to get bigger. That's yikes.
Well, I mean, that's painful to say, but that's what, you know, when the Raiders,
when you draft those players, you get that.
Yeah,
I get what you're
that
saying.
Reputation where when other teams don't want to take a player because of that, them and the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. I wonder if someone told Connor to stop. No, okay. He tipped earlier. So why is this one taking so long?
They might be trying to trade.
Oh my God. That's a goal. 3-0. Let's go, New Jersey. My friend Kyle, who I've told you about, he's at the game right now, and the tickets are so expensive. I don't even know how he got a ticket.
Ramron said, "Who's the Bears running back?" Actually, well, it's Justin Fields, if we're being honest, but it could. I think right now it's Herbert and Ebner. Oh, and they signed like Travis Homer from Seattle, but maybe Bijan Robinson. I just don't foresee the Bears taking Bijan Robinson when you've got Justin Fields. But I would like to know who Vegas picked.
I know. I'm like waiting. Like, someone want to hit me up with some Vegas picks? The meme. You got those Vegas picks?
No one's reported it yet. Vegas is taking their time, which is a little surprising to me.
I know it's Vegas. You got to go big.
Well, just because, so they might not like Levis, and they might now not be sure, because in my mind, I don't know, maybe they're not going to take a quarterback. Maybe they're sticking with Jimmy G.
We just hit the 200 mark. Sorry. Continue.
Nice.
All right. What are the Raiders doing though? Like for real?
Well, I think they're trying. Usually, it means they're trying to trade out, but that's a little surprising to me because in my mind, like Christian Gonzalez is right there. Will Levis, if you like him enough to be your quarterback, is right there. Jalen Carter. So maybe they just don't like any of those guys enough. But I'm a little surprised because I think that Vegas could use any of them desperately. Okay, the pick is in.
With with all the Rams fans in here before this pick is announced, when the 6th pick was there and who was available. Okay, they're picking Tyree Wilson.
Okay.
Raiders are picking Tyree Wilson.
That's a little interesting to me because you've got Max Crosby, you've got Chandler.
Yeah, you got Chandler Jones. Yeah, no, you're right.
So I'm a little confused because Christian.
The scheme fit makes sense though. The 4-3 defense.
It does, but I'm trying to think though. Oh yeah, so you're okay. So you're putting Tyree more in like an outside linebacker.
No, you're putting Tyree at defensive end because he's a big boy.
Right, but then what about you've got Max Crosby at defensive end, and you've got Chandler Jones.
Yeah, so probably what they're looking at is Chandler Jones is pushing, I think he's pushing 34. No, he just turned 33. So I think this is he's going to help us in a rotational basis. He can also be utilized. Maybe he'll be kicked in at defensive tackle, used a little bit situationally. I think they're just going to find a way to get him on the field. You know what I mean?
Right, but like I just feel like for them it would have made more sense to draft someone who is going to be more of an impact. Like Christian Gonzalez to me makes more sense for them.
Yeah, I could see that. Right now they're starting Duke Shelley, David Long, Nate Hobbs, Amik Robertson, and Brandon Fasais. Yeah, I absolutely could see that. I think they have needs, but I think they probably went best available with this pick.
Well, Atlanta's up, and I think they're taking Bijan Robinson or Jalen Carter. So here's what's interesting about this is I actually thought when Jalen Carter started to fall that he would end up stay in Georgia, right? Because he's with Atlanta.
Yeah.
But the talk has been lately that Atlanta loves Bijan Robinson. So I think it's one of those two guys. Let's see what the chat says. Or a receiver. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so now the original idea, because, with the Falcons, going back to 6th pick, you have the 6th pick, you're on the clock, you're the Rams. Who would you have taken, Alexis? Who would you have taken at that pick?
The draft, so the draft's fallen how it already has?
Yeah, like everybody had gone off the board 1 through 5, the way it did. I
might have taken Paris Johnson. I might have taken Tyree Wilson. I would have been happy with both of those guys. I would have loved Witherspoon, but if he'd already gone to Seattle, I don't know that I would have taken Christian Gonzalez.
See, because I might have actually taken Jalen Carter. Put him with AD.
I don't know. I'm a little nervous about his legal holdups right now.
Well, that too. I probably, to be entirely honest with you, I'd probably go Christian Gonzalez at pick 6 if I'm the Rams. If I still had that pick, that's probably who I would have grabbed, because he has he doesn't have the physicality of Ramsey, but kind of has the same build.
A lot of people think the Eagles are going to take Jalen Carter, and like, do people forget that the Eagles have Jordan Davis?
Yeah, I could see them still. I mean, like, Fletcher Cox is older. I could see them doing something like that. I think they're going to get Christian Gonzalez. That's what I think. And on my mock, I had Tyree Wilson going to the Falcons and Skoronski going to the Raiders. So the only guy who's remaining out of that top 8 is Carter and Skoronski. And I think the Falcons have really done a nice job. I think the Falcons are going to be better than people think with that defense, because that defense was putrid. I think they've really done a nice job of addressing it. I don't think David Onyemata is bad, right? Grady Jarrett's a good player. Eddie Goldman, Calais Campbell. There's some age there. I could see this being, you called it. It's Bijan Robinson.
Wow. That's what I figured. It came out that the Falcons really liked him, and I think the Falcons also kind of just take best available a lot. I mean, you've seen it with Kyle Pitts. You've seen it with Drake London. I mean, those were also needs. Running back is a need, so it makes sense.
He's the 5th guy on my board. I mean, I didn't think he'd go this high, and I think it just takes one team to fall in love with the player. And I think that's what we're looking at with Bijan Robinson. Is just the Falcons, they got Todd Gurley after the Rams. They were hoping to get that spark. They didn't get that. Todd was at the end of his, rope there. And so I think when you look at, Bijan Robinson and what he brings to the table, is I compared him to Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he does everything well. I don't think he's generational like some people do, but I think he's one of the best running backs day one in the NFL. Like, I think he can be a 1,400-yard rusher if need be, but he's also a really good pass catcher as well. He's a really good pass protector. So he does everything well, and he's a true feature back, bell cow, any of those terms you want to use. That's Bijan Robinson.
Well, Desmond Ridder has some weapons now, right? I mean, you got Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson.
And I think I like that. I like trying to stick by Ridder, trying to develop him. He was my number 1 quarterback last year in the draft. And I think that way too many people are trying to, not that many, but I've seen some recency bias where it's like, go out and get Will Levis, go out and get Anthony Richardson. And I'm like, see what you have in Desmond Ridder first before you do that. Unless you're getting Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers or somebody, big, stick by Desmond Ridder. You might have something.
Well, you know who's on the clock now?
I do. It's the Chicago Bears. And is Papa Don watching this right now?
He is. I actually think he's like in the kitchen right now.
Oh.
So he might miss it. But
yeah, I think they're going to get Skoronski. It fell to them.
I would absolutely lose my mind if they got Skoronski. But Jalen Carter's there, and I'm not going to lie, they are rebuilding that defense, and if they're comfortable enough and think that Carter's not going to be a liability, they could also very well take Carter.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. Let me bring up the Bears depth chart real quick. I love having this iPad in front of me. Okay. So they have Braxton Jones, Larry Borum. Those are 2 5th-round picks that they've added the last 2 years. Kellen Deesh is the guy I liked, but he's a UDFA. Cody Whitehair, who was a 2nd round. They love their 2nd rounder and their 5th round. So they don't have a 1st round offensive lineman on the roster. They went out and got Nate Davis. So if they look at Skoronski as a guard, I could see that get in the way. Tevin Jenkins as your left tackle. You move Skoronski to right tackle. Could see it.
I need it to be Skoronski, Jake, for the story. I'm in love with... And here's the thing. You know that Skoronski right now is... His hometown team is up to pick. He knows that he could fit in there. And you know he wants that, right?
Yeah.
The Bears are on the upswing. Like, I just know that that's what he wants. The Bears have traded with the Eagles.
That's smart.
It's got to be Jalen Carter.
That's interesting, though.
Unless
like, the
you think
Eagles
it's Christian
traded
Gonzalez.
one spot.
It means that they traded with the Bears because they think that the Bears were going to take who they wanted.
It means that the Bears leveraged the hell out of them, and that is a win, in my opinion, for them.
So the
obviously.
Bears either were going to take Jalen Carter or pretended like they were going to take Jalen Carter, because trust me, I don't think the Eagles are trading up for Skoronski. So it's got to be Jalen Carter now to Philadelphia. Right? I'm trying to find the pick.
Yeah, nothing yet. Okay. I mean, I don't hate this move. If you want your guy, they're moving a 4th round pick. I don't think that's a ton to go up in, and the Bears are getting a 4th rounder next year. I mean,
wait, what did they trade?
It's a 4th rounder in 2024.
That is ridiculous. That makes me not happy with the Bears. Yep, the Eagles took Jalen Carter.
There it is. The rich get richer, don't they?
The dream is alive. Peter Skoronski, are you going to be a Chicago Bear? Please, God.
You know what's funny? While we're sitting here and that happened. People bet on the draft. And there's somebody that just lost money because Skoronski fell or whatever it was. Because those over-unders. So it's funny. You and I are like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And then there's somebody like, no.
I did make a little bet on this draft. That
I can't bet in New York on that. So
Jackson Smith would go top 10. So if the Bears do want to draft him instead of Peter Skoronski, I'm not going to be too upset.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go that route, but that'd be interesting.
Wow, the Eagles are going to have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
And Nakobe Dean.
Wow. They just took Georgia's entire defense.
Yeah, why not? I mean, take Ringo while you're at it.
They going to trade up for Nolan Smith? All right. We know what the Bears need to do here. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I don't see that the pick is in for Chicago yet. I'm going to keep looking.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either.
What do you guys think? You think it's going to be Peter Skoronski? Am I going to get my dream? Peter Skoronski had the 5th highest draft grade, by the way. I'm looking at Next Gen Stats.
I'm looking at the chat right now.
Pick is still not in for Chicago. What would you do if you were Chicago here, Jake?
I mean, based on my board and who they need, that's a good question. All right. I would actually take Christian Gonzalez.
Interesting. I mean,
Gonzalez is the 4th player on my board, best available right now. Skoronski is 7th. So, I mean, obviously, if they take Skoronski, that's not a bad pick. And I think it very well could happen. And I think it might have just happened. Let me hold on a sec. Okay, maybe not. What is...
no, I'm not seeing it.
No, I had a weird one. Well, this is... it's not easy living in the everybody can be verified world.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean.
Man, the Eagles really going back to the Super Bowl, aren't they, Jake?
They really could.
Well,
I mean, they have a good looking roster. Yeah.
If it can't be the Rams, then the Eagles are a good bet.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about the Rams going back to the Super Bowl this year. Might be a year or two away.
Are the Bears trying to give me a heart attack? Is that what's going on? Is that why they're just like taking their sweet time? Unless they're trying to trade out again.
I didn't even go crazy with the thumbnail graphic this time around. I was just like, we'll do an old picture of us, put a blue film over it, put our logo, and just tell people what it is.
For our draft graphic?
Yeah, no, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm seeing like all these people went crazy with these draft graphics, and I was just like, yeah.
The Bears took Darnell Wright.
Wow. Okay. Darnell Wright.
Connor is the only one who's reported that.
I had him going to the Jets at 15.
Chicago, no. They did take Darnell Wright. No.
I actually really like Darnell Wright. I just think this is a little bit of reach. Just a little bit.
The dream is dead. My dream is dead.
This confirms my suspicion. I think a lot of teams are looking at Skoronski as a guard. Darnell Wright's my 38th overall player in the draft, but I really like him. That's not a knock on him. I just think this is a bit of a reach. But, Alexis, what's interesting about this pick, this is not Broderick Jones, this is not Peter Skoronski. Darnell Wright is somebody that is very NFL ready. So by them doing this tells me that they want to compete this year, big time. And I don't know, that's low key a little bit of a flex.
Chicago?
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
that's what
mean,
I read into with that. That also means Christian Gonzalez fell outside of the top 10 and lost a bunch of people money.
Well, who's
I
up
shouldn't
next?
be laughing.
Tennessee? Well, okay, so Tennessee's up. You think they take Levis?
Yeah. I think it's...
I do too.
Yeah, that's a done deal, I think. But I've been wrong before. Actually, I've been wrong quite a bit tonight. My mock draft, you can just toss it in the nearest dump.
My dream is dead. I'm sorry, Skoronski. You deserve better. What do you think the pick of the draft has been so far, guys in the chat? What do you think?
So I just want to give a shout out. It's kind of it's not doesn't show it well on StreamYard, so I had to go on the YouTube platform to actually see it. My buddy Evan just gifted 10 of my memberships to people in this channel. So Evan, appreciate you. That's freaking awesome. And I just also want to be very quick to say I wasn't the one that did that. That was Evan. That's all Evan. Evan deserves all the credit. And the reason it took me a while to, comment on that is because for whatever reason on StreamYard doesn't show it. So I had no idea until people started saying huge W for Evan. So Evan's very happy tonight. Evan is the GOAT.
Well, guys, I'm trying to stay updated. I don't see that Tennessee's pick is in yet. I think that Tennessee could also go Jackson.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it's going to be Levis. Unless they really don't like him enough. You know what I mean? I mean, I think Tennessee liked Stroud. I don't know that Tennessee liked Levis.
So this is... Yeah, this is certainly going to be an interesting pick. This will tell us a lot about how the rest of the draft's going to fall.
I mean, you think it's Levis, though, right?
I think it's Levis, yeah.
I think it is. It's definitely got to be him, maybe Gonzalez, maybe Jackson. I don't think it's going to be Michael Mayer. I do think Detroit might take Michael Mayer, though. I have felt that Detroit or Green Bay is going to take Michael Mayer, and I really believe that.
Yeah, I have him going to the Cowboys later on in the round.
Why would you do that to me? Why?
I think that's something they would do.
I don't think he's going to fall that far.
So Adam Schefter just pointed out this interesting fact. Howie Roseman's record remains intact. He has never drafted a running back, cornerback, tight end, or safety in the first round. That's crazy.
Wild.
Then again, I don't know what is crazy because it's not like the Rams ever pick in the first round. So,
well, I'll do you one up. Schefter, who hasn't picked in the first round since 2016? Fun fact.
Who's that?
The Rams. Is that the longest? I actually don't know the answer to this, but I believe this is probably the answer. Is that the longest?
Oh, Titans got Skoronski.
Oh, he's bummed. I just know that he was like somehow being picked the next pick makes it worse. Does it not?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so my hometown team didn't want me,
And then you're
and then I
dealing
went
with all that.
right after. Like, I mean,
To
I
know
guess
that
he's
you're,
just happy in that moment, but I get what you're saying, though.
especially because they literally took an offensive tackle. They took his position, but they didn't take
Yeah.
him. And now every
Yeah.
time you go home, around all your friends, everybody who's Bears fans, you have to have that like I feel so angry for him about that.
And I mean, let's be honest here. I know that there are people that are going to say his arm length isn't great. The guy is a tackle. He played in the Big Ten. You can't use a flex for this guy's a dog because he played in the Big Ten. And then with Peter Skoronski, just be like, yeah, he played in the Big Ten. Like, you can't just like slide by it. I think Skoronski is, he's a top 10 talent. He goes at 11 here, so not that far out. But, he's my 7th overall player on the board. And he's somebody that is a true run mauler, in the draft. And I think the Titans, I don't know what their deal is with Derrick Henry. I don't know if he's going to remain there. There's all sorts of rumors about him becoming an Eagle. I don't know, right? But what I do know,
everybody going to be an Eagle according to everybody online?
Yeah, pretty much. But what I do know is that, at the end of the day, Skoronski is going to make you a better football team. And I think he is somebody that is being slept on because right now, no one knows what to use him because his arm length threshold, it's like the lowest of the low. Like, nobody in the first round, no tackle has gone the first round or top 10 or whatever with the arm length he had or something like that. So again, Alexis, I think, not having the longest arms definitely makes it harder for you, but like he got through it in college playing in the Big Ten, I don't know.
Well, what's wild, Jake, is Detroit traded down and they can still get Christian Gonzalez here.
I know. And that's
good for them.
Yeah, that's a genius play right there.
Do you think that was calculated or do you think they just got lucky?
I mean, I'm sure some of it is calculated, but yeah, I do think they got a little lucky. Broderick Jones is still there, by the way, but tackles are flying off the board here.
But I don't see Detroit taking a tackle. Now,
no, just in general.
I think the Jets are going to take Jones.
I don't think he'll be there for the Jets.
You think Green Bay or New England's going to take him?
Like, I think that a team could trade up and get him.
Oh.
I don't think the Jets are in a position to trade up right now after trading the whole Aaron Rodgers trade. Now, funny enough, this is my biggest issue with the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers. That pick swap at the end of the day, like, that's nice and all, like, but that also, not only do the Packers get dibs before you, but you gave the division rival Patriots dibs to pick before you. Did not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jets might be in a position where they might need to trade up. Broderick Jones could be an option. What I will say is if it gets to the Jets pick and they are like, okay, we want to tackle and all these guys are off the board or whatever, I would go and get Anton Harrison. That's what I would do. I think Anton Harrison has a high ceiling. I think he has one of the highest ceilings in the draft. I think you trade down, you pick Harrison.
Well, I'm very curious to see who Detroit takes right here.
Yeah, I mean, best available right now, number 4 on my board is Christian Gonzalez. And I haven't been updating the elimination board, so my bad on that. But
I think it definitely needs to be Christian Gonzalez or Michael Mayer. I think Gonzalez makes more sense for Detroit here, though.
I mean, it's gone somewhat how I expected. I'm not saying like exactly all the trades and everything, but like just the players going the way they did. I'm just a little surprised Christian Gonzalez is here at pick 11 or pick 12, excuse me.
I mean, I'm surprised only one corner has been taken.
Yeah.
I mean, Devon Witherspoon. I mean, you got Christian Gonzalez. I think they'll do that. They could go Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, I don't know. It would be kind of interesting to see them do like Lucas Van Ness opposite Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. This is interesting because you actually just kind of brought up an interesting point here. The edge defenders. For those of you that are Rams fans out there, I'm probably jinxing it now. There's only been one edge taken. This is lining up decently for the Rams at pick 36. Now, I will say, this is also lining up decently with the cornerbacks. There's only been one cornerback taken. There's only been one interior defensive lineman taken, which makes sense, right? No guards, no centers, 3 tackles. So there's other guys getting taken, and if you're looking for a tackle in this draft, I'll just say right now, you're going to have a hard time finding a guy that can play right away. You know, then you look at the tight ends. I have 3 first-round grades on tight ends. Sam Laporta is my number 1 tight end. Sorry, Alexis. I ended up loving Sam Laporta. Mayer's number 2. Kincaid is number 3. Those are the 3 tight ends I have first-round grades on. Jalen Hyatt, I think, will be an interesting. I don't have any first-round grades on wide receivers outside Jalen Hyatt. Oh, and
Really,
Charlie Jones, who I'm really, really high on.
You have a first-round grade on Charlie Jones?
Yes, I absolutely love Charlie Jones. His tape blew up off. He blew up off the tape, in my opinion, and I think he just does everything. You know,
I mean,
he doesn't look the part. But here's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize: this wide receiver class is filled with no wide receiver ones. It's a bunch of role players. Now they could be really good, but you're dealing with a bunch of slot guys. There's no Justin Jefferson.
Well,
there's none of that.
It's a weak class. I mean, it's not.
Oh my God! The Lions just took Jamir Gibbs.
What? Are you sure?
Holy hell! Yes, running back off the board at 12. Jamir Gibbs out of Alabama, and I'm not hating on the pick at all by any stretch. I have a first-round grade on him. I just didn't think we would see 2 running backs taken in the first round. I didn't think we'd see them that early on.
They just signed David Montgomery to a 3-year deal. They've got DeAndre Swift.
Nah, maybe they don't have DeAndre Swift. Maybe they're looking at it like he's on his way out. Maybe they're like, we're going to trade him.
They're definitely trading him.
I
have to say, I don't like this pick for Detroit. I really actually don't like this pick for Detroit. I very much hate this pick, actually. Because of all the needs, Detroit is a team that's been ascending. Of all the needs that they have, and you take Jamar Gibbs, of all the holes that you have, I mean, you've obviously got to... And you know what? I just realized that Skoronski's a Packers fan because his grandpa played for the Packers. So, anyways, sorry. Of all the needs that you have, Christian Gonzalez is right there. You could go tight end. This just is not moving you forward at all.
I will say this: if I go by my board, he's number 13 on my board. This is about where his value is. Now, positional value. Clearly the league is, and this is what I'll say, Alexis. Last year, remember we discussed this, and I talk about this all the time. Last year, we saw the running back come back, right? We saw 1,400-yard rushers again. I'm not saying rushers, a rusher. The point is running backs came back. The reason is because there's more off-man coverage now, right? There's more zone coverage. There's more soft zone. There's lighter boxes. So a lot of teams are running the ball. And because a lot of teams are running the ball, I think running back value has gotten back to where it was. Now, what we're not going to see is guys get tons of cash in free agency. It's why there's a lot of good running backs in free agency still available. And the reason is because this class is loaded, Alexis. And that is my negative and why I would not pick a running back in the first round, because I think Jamir Gibbs is fantastic. Jamir Gibbs was the number one weapon for Bryce Young in probably the worst receiver group the Alabama's had in years. He stepped up as a receiver. He was the leading receiver. Gibbs, to me, I wouldn't have picked a running back, but if you're going to pick one here, Gibbs is the guy. I only have 2 feature backs graded in this draft, like 2 true feature backs, and it's Bijan and Gibbs. And I have Bijan at 5 overall. He goes at 8, and I had Jamir Gibbs at 13, and he goes at 12. So interesting, kind of like Todd Gurley pick.
Everyone on the timeline that is a Lions fan, and obviously everyone who's also not Lions fans, is just, nobody is a fan of this. I think this is a horrific. I'm going to use that word. Now what you have to do if you're the Lions, I think this is dumb. But what you're going to have to do now is you're going to have to trade Swift. You can't have all 3 of them. And maybe they just really don't like Swift, but you've got holes on that team, and you put yourself in a position, if you're the Lions, where you've been ascending and you had other holes that you could fix. Christian Gonzalez, Michael Mayer, Lucas Van Ness, that would, I think, push you into the NFC North, which just got weaker with Aaron Rodgers gone, and you're basically making a pick that's just like, it's not doing anything for you. It's just not. I would have been less surprised if they had went and taken Levis, which I don't think they would have done, because I think that they actually do like Jared Goff. But everyone's reaction is just like, this is just a terrible positional. I just can't believe that, actually. This is like something I feel the Rams would do, drafting like, what's a position we don't need? The Rams taking like a... God, this sucks, because now that I think of it, I don't know that there's a position that I'd be super angry. Think of a position that would be bad for the Rams to take in the second round. To me, it'd be a quarterback, but this is what that feels like for me.
It's a reach based on the mock drafts and everything, right? But I think this, I have him as my 13th overall player. I think this is the best player available pick. Just like when the Rams said Todd Gurley was number 1 on their board, number 1, like he was their best player in the draft. I think it's one of those picks where they had a ridiculously high grade on Jamir Gibbs. They probably had Bijan 1, Gibbs 2, or something like that. Then they trade down because they're like, we're not going to pick Gibbs in the top 10. And then they, now they get him here at 12, and they added a second rounder. So the mock drafts make this look like a big reach, but we don't really know. The Packers are actually not going to get a weapon for Jordan Love. They continue this trend. They're going to be getting Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa to rush the passer. And I find that very interesting. I had him coming off at the 14th pick with the Patriots. He just looked like a Patriot to me. And with Josh Uche set to be a free agent after the season, I thought that made sense. This is intriguing by the Packers. And I think, seeing him as the second, there's been 2 edge defenders picked and now 3, because I forgot to mention Tyree Wilson was picked, and then Lucas Van Ness. So it was shaping up to be a little good for the Rams. Now we've seen multiple edge defenders get picked. We'll see what ends up happening here, but I like the pick for Green Bay. I think, Van Ness is a really good player. Here's one thing that I found funny, Alexis. Van Ness never started a game in college. Never.
Yeah. I actually kind of thought that if the Packers were going to go defense, they would go after Van Ness. I just thought they probably would have gone tight end, because they lost Tanyan. They don't really have anyone there. Josiah DeGuara, but they don't really have anyone there. And if they were going to go defense, I kind of thought maybe they'd go safety, but maybe not this high. Interesting. I mean, I think they're confident in Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. I mean, those are two young receivers they have, so maybe they were thinking, you know, I don't know, I probably still would have gotten a weapon for Jordan Love, but isn't that kind of the Packers' MO now? It's like they don't want to help their quarterbacks out.
They haven't picked the last time they picked a receiver was like in the 90s or something. Like it's something crazy like that. I just think he is going, like, Van Ness has incredible upside and has a chance to be an absolute stud and has the versatility to play inside or outside, right? I think this is one of those ones where he's probably best available, and they were worried. And this actually, to my point, Alexis, this actually explains why they wanted the pick swap with the Jets, because that actually makes a ton of sense now, because I could absolutely see the Patriots. I had the Patriots taking Van Ness. So if they coveted him that much and they're like, we get ahead of the Patriots are like, yeah, we don't feel like moving up to get past the Packers. Whatever, we'll let them get Van Ness. Pick swap works out for the Packers. Well, they get their guy.
You know what a fun little tidbit is? So Lucas Van Ness is dating Cole Kmet's sister. So Cole Kmet's sister is now dating a Packers player.
That's funny.
And Cole Kmet plays for the Bears. And Lucas Van Ness plays defense and Cole Kmet plays offense. So they're going to match up.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Talk about a rivalry.
It would have been fun. It would have been funny to see them go with, people were calling it a revenge weapon draft pick, like getting rid of Aaron Rodgers and then, now we're going to pick a receiver. Screw you, And I actually had them picking Dalton Kincaid here. So Van Ness
had them picking Mayer. Now, do you think the Patriots take JSN now?
No. I think this is going to be Nolan Smith based on the way I see it going right now, based on my board and based on their needs. Nolan Smith would be the guy, I think. Or, they'll be like, all right, Christian Gonzalez, come on down, I think it's going to be
JSN or Christian Gonzalez.
What I find fascinating is that Christian Gonzalez is built very similarly to Derwin James. And remember when Derwin James kept falling and people were like, why is he falling outside of the top 10? Like, it honestly could be a sign of the position and just how things are going nowadays in the NFL. And I mean, that's wicked interesting when you think about it. Just this trend that we're starting to see. Jalen Ramsey getting traded for a measly 3rd round pick and a tight end with 1 reception. I don't know. Maybe that speaks to, and Christian Gonzalez, he doesn't play the run enough. And I think that's one thing. Devin Witherspoon gets drafted 5th by Seattle, and he plays the run. He has that physicality. I think the biggest knock on Christian Gonzalez is that he's a fantastic athlete. But, the Steelers have traded up.
With New England?
Yes. This has got to be for a tackle. If you're trading up here, this is probably for a tackle, I would imagine. I think this is Broderick Jones.
I think it's Broderick Jones, but I also could see it being Christian Gonzalez. I'm trying to figure out why my computer isn't charging. It's not good. I think it's Broderick Jones or Christian Gonzalez. I'm actually kind of feeling like it might be Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Christian Gonzalez would be, my God, that would be a crazy pick. I think it makes sense. It makes sense for the Patriots to trade down. They moved down to 17. It's not a huge move down, but the Steelers went up to get their guy. And what'll be interesting here is that there is a potential for a Joey Porter Jr. going to where Joey Porter Sr. played. But my thing is, I could see that if Christian Gonzalez wasn't available. But why would you do it now? I guess maybe to get ahead of Washington. Maybe you're getting Deonte Banks. I mean, this is either.
I think it's
Gonzalez. I would say this is either
do.
Gonzalez. I would say this is either Gonzalez, maybe Emmanuel Forbes, Deontay Banks, Joey Porter Jr., Brian Branch, maybe even, or Broderick Jones. Those are the only ones I can see.
All my Steelers friends on the timeline really want this to be Gonzalez, so for their sake, I'm hoping it is.
So, okay, so the Steelers are sending a 4th rounder this year to move up. So I don't know what you think about that, but the 4th rounder this year.
It's Broderick Jones.
Okay.
So they sniped the Jets.
That makes sense because everybody knows that
the Jets really wanted
the Jets
tackle.
really want to tackle. So I think the Jets should probably trade down.
They probably should at this point because I'm trying to think of all the tackles left. I think that none of them I probably wouldn't take at 15.
I think Adam had Cam Smith to answer your question, Alex, in his mock draft. I think he had Cam Smith. He might have had Broderick Jones. God, I can't even remember now. Yeah, I like the move. Go out and protect your quarterback in Kenny Pickett. Broderick Jones is a really good player, really good prospect. I think his issue is just he doesn't have a ton of experience playing.
You know who I think the Jets are going to take if they stay here and don't trade out?
Who's that?
JSN. I really think that.
I don't see it.
I do. I think they're going to reunite him with Garrett Wilson. And there were reports, this isn't me just wanting connection, that the Jets really liked that idea.
Huh.
Now, I think that they probably would have preferred to take a tackle, but I don't think there's anyone.
Yeah, the Jets now, they're in an interesting spot. I would trade down and, go after, Anton Harrison. The problem is, man, they're in a tough spot. They're in a real tough spot because they're trying to win now. So Anton Harrison, he maybe could start. Maybe he wins a camp battle. But, yeah, that did not turn out well for the Jets. But maybe they just say screw it and they go best available here, and the best available would be Christian Gonzalez.
That would be a duo, him and Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. I mean, I really like what the Jets are building. I've said that just the whole year covering them last year. I mean, just, you got Michael Carter, who's still on that team, and Sauce Gardner, Jordan Whitehead, Chuck Clark, DJ Reed. Yeah, I think you could definitely add him to that cornerback room. But then also, they could go interior defensive line, with Quinnen Williams potentially wanting a big deal, maybe not wanting to pay him that down the road, of course. They could go wide receiver. I think they're trying to get rid of receivers right now. They could go tight end. I mean, they have their pick of the litter here with tight ends. So,
well, they still haven't made the pick. I wonder if they're trying to trade out.
Yeah.
I do. It does kind of look like the Jets are trying to trade out. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the Jets ultimately decide to do.
I mean, there's the pick isn't in, so they're either deciding or they're trying to trade. I would trade down.
Now, to add some context here, you know how Connor's been tipping the picks. He's going to get it quicker than anybody because he covers the Jets. He's in with the Jets. So we'll be getting this probably before everyone else when Connor drops it.
Someone please take Levis so Les Snead doesn't get any ideas. I mean, pick is not in that I'm seeing. I just really think they need to trade out. Saw a stat that the Jets had the third worst ranked offensive line last season. I think they've got to trade down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they have some really good talent, but it's a lot of raw talent. Like, I like Max Mitchell, you know, 4th rounder last year. He showed some signs. Elijah Vera-Tucker, love him. Connor McGovern, they bring back. Laken Tomlinson had a horrible year. They were not expecting that. They gave him a lot of money. And, you know, they still have Mekhi Becton. They you know, Dwayne Brown came back. But, you know, I think they got some young talent. They got some unproven talent. But I think they definitely need to add some more beef into that offensive line room. And, Alexis, I'm just going to say this right now, and I don't care who this offends, like Jets fans. This is literally why I said the pick swap was a stupid idea with the Packers. To agree to that was so dumb, because what the Steelers did is they identified that they wanted Broderick Jones. He was the best tackle remaining, and they jumped the Jets to go and get him. Okay? But if you do not do that, if you don't have that pick swap, and you stay at 13, you get him. He fell to 13. You see what I'm saying? The Packers picked at 15. That pick swap cost them the guy that they wanted. And that's the cold hard truth about it. You know, we could say, oh, this is tough. That sucks for the Jets. That was the problem I had with the pick swap. Because guess what, Alexis? Remember when I said the Patriots picked ahead of them? Patriots didn't even have to pick, Alexis. They just did their damage with the Jets by just getting rid of the pick. See what I'm saying? So that was a big miss, I thought, by the Jets to agree to a pick swap in the first round for Aaron Rodgers with that contract in it. I just think that was really stupid. And I think that the Jets have been really good about the moves they've made, and Joe Douglas has been phenomenal. That was real stupid. And that is a move that I will go on record criticizing because, you know, they just missed out on their guy that they wanted. And look, they could probably get Christian Gonzalez here. He's better than the guy that they want, in my opinion. But
Connor Hughes said that the Jets are milking the clock, so the pick isn't in. I mean, it's under 2 minutes. They're probably trying to trade out. I don't know.
They're trying to trade out.
I think that if they don't trade out, they're taking JSN. I really do. There's a lot of people on the phone. They're shaking hands. So something's happened. If you're watching the...
I don't want to freak people out, but I'm very concerned that Will Levis is going to fall too far and the Rams might trade up and get him. I'm very concerned about that possibility.
Did you not hear what I said a couple of minutes ago?
I don't think I did. Oh, yeah.
I said, someone please take Levis before Les Snead gets any ideas. Like, please, I will be.
Especially, if you go quarterback, that fifth year option is huge. If you're going to draft a quarterback, I'm not saying I agree with you for doing it, but if you're going to, you want to get him in the first, not the second. Yeah, I would be furious. I would not be.
I would go ballistic, probably, to be honest.
The Jets are picking, so we'll see what ends up happening.
Will McDonald.
Oh my God.
Interesting. So
my God.
This to me is incredibly high. But
he's my 8th overall player. I love him.
I think this is way high for Willman. But at the same time, if that's their guy, I mean, maybe they like him better than Myles Murphy or Nolan Smith or Felix, or I'd have to pull up my rankings to see. I think that I had McDonald in my... I don't even know if I had him in my top 10, but let's see. I had him number 8, the 8th edge rusher available.
I had him 8th overall. I had him as my number 2 overall edge defender.
I know. I have him as my 8th edge defender.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Tomiwa ahead of him, Felix ahead of him. I have, if my graphics want to load, I had Nolan Smith and Myles Murphy ahead of him. So I think this is super high for me, but I like Will McDonald. If he would have been there when the Rams picked, I would have loved for the Rams to have taken him. I think he can start right away. I think
he's awesome. He really is. He can start right away. He was played out of position at Iowa State, a guy that, if he played from a wide 9 perspective, then, he probably goes way higher. But Will McDonald is an absolute baller. And he was asked to play in a 3-tech, a 4-tech, a 5-tech at Iowa State, played out of position at his 238-pound frame. And the guy I've talked about so much on this channel, he is just an absolute dog. Like, this is somebody that has 16 sack potential. This is somebody who could be the best pass rusher from this draft. And in a lot of cases, I had to ask myself, is he maybe better than Will Anderson? And I was saying, he's got better bend, I believe. I think Will Anderson is a better run defender. But now I know that this guy can play. He was double teamed, going up against these big double team guards and centers and whatnot. He held his own because he's played out of position. The Jets aren't going to play him out of position. I love this because this adds it to JJ3, who they got last year, Jermaine Johnson III. They're just, my God. They're absolutely, they're killing it. I think that this is a great pick for the Jets, and it's going to seem like a reach, but I think that the mock drafts have people thinking that these guys are going to fall and that it's a reach, when, let's be honest here, Will McDonald is one of the best pass rushers in this class, and they just got a dog for that defense.
I like Will McDonald. I think this is way too high, but I think with the edge rushers in this class, if you have your guy, you should just take him. There's a lot of edge rushers, very edge heavy class, so I don't think that it's a wrong pick by any means. I'm a little surprised by the Jets taking an edge rusher, to be honest, but I do think they did try to trade out of it, and so I think it just came down to they weren't going to trade. So
oh my God, Washington just took Emmanuel Forbes.
Really?
Oh man, this is what I'm talking about. Those are the two guys that I really liked for the Rams. Wow.
That also feels like a reach to me, but Forbes ahead of Gonzalez?
Yeah, I think Forbes is an absolute baller. He actually broke the record for most pick sixes in the FBS. And I am shocked that he's still there, Christian Gonzalez, but Forbes is really, really good. He's my third overall corner. And I mean, it's another guy that I was hoping would fall to the Rams that I just didn't buy would fall to the Rams.
Well, that means the Patriots are up. They got to take JSN or Gonzalez now. They're still there for them. Who do you guys think the Patriots are going to pick? I'm looking at the chat. I think they're taking JSN or Gonzalez. I don't see how they could take anyone else.
Yeah, the Patriots. It's interesting here. Pick 17. We'll see what ends up happening. I mean, I could see them going. I think they could go Brian Branch. I think they could go Myles Murphy. I think they could. I mean, I could see a bunch of different things there. I don't see Will Levis though. That's what I don't see. Let's see. I was like, oh, damn, it got quiet.
I mute myself when I'm chewing.
No, I know. I'm not trying to make you choke or anything. Like, because I can see you practically trying to hold in a laugh, but I was just like, damn, got quiet in here. How's everyone doing? Appreciate you guys being with us. We're over 200 people in here. And yeah.
Someone tweeted, did Christian Gonzalez kill someone?
You can't drop something like that and not warn me. My God.
That's so
Alexis
terrible.
off the top rope. Holy hell.
Well, it's like, why is he dropping like this? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah, but holy hell, man. Oh, Lord. Just comes out, just like all this like pause and like I'm eating. It's like, it's just me talking to myself into the abyss. There's like all this like quiet. And then Alexis just comes out. Did he kill somebody? Like, oh my God.
I mean, what is this like weird energy about Christian Gonzalez?
Hell if I knew. Oh my God. That was great. That's gonna get clipped. That will turn into, people will clip that, put that on Twitter. That'll turn into a TikTok. Like, Christian Gonzalez just kill somebody. Like
what did he do? Did he like? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, New England's still on the clock, by the way. They haven't made the pick. I think it's going to be JSN or Gonzalez. If it's not Gonzalez, I don't know.
Wow. What a win. The Devils just totally dominated the Rangers 4-0. Their 21-year-old goalie shut out Igor Shesterkin.
Cool.
I don't expect you to know any of that, but if I gave you more details, you'd probably root for the Rangers because Tarasenko's on them.
I do like Tarasenko.
That is something that's something I mentioned last night when I was doing my mock draft. I said don't be surprised if they trade in the first. But I don't I don't know if who they would trade up to get. I will just say this. If I were the Rams and I did trade into the first, it'd probably be the back end of the 20s. I would go out and get the way the board is turning out right now, because I don't expect Gonzalez to fall to the late 20s, Alexis. I would go out and get Jalen Hyatt. I would get a dynamic deep threat receiver to make my offense absolutely explode.
The Patriots took Gonzalez.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I'm not going to make the joke that I'm going to make. But pick is in, they pick Christian Gonzalez. I don't think he killed someone.
No. So that's number 17. I've been doing a decent job of keeping up with these.
TJ just made the joke that I was going to make in the chat. He said it, so I didn't have to.
I just don't know how he fell to pick 17. Like, was there a video of him with a gas mask on, like smoking weed? Like you remember when, what was it? Tunsil fell.
Ramrod, I didn't get my call. I'm getting it Thursday. Not Thursday. Today's Thursday. Saturday. Because Saturday's the really long day where like Jake and I are like fight for our life to stay awake because we're like streaming for 7 hours. So I'm going to get it Saturday. And I appreciate you. Okay, so Detroit's on the clock. Can they make a worse pick than they did with Jamir Gibbs? You know who I want the Lions to take, Jake? Do you see
Who's that?
cup?
Mayer?
Yep.
I could see that.
Fighting Irish.
By going out and getting Gibbs, it tells me that they just want to put as much around Goff as possible, which I can't say that I have any issue with that.
Or they don't want him to throw the ball. Just giving him David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, and Jamir Gibbs. Which I don't think is the case because Jared Goff played very well last season. So, all right. Detroit pick still isn't in. I don't think they trade back. Well, maybe. You know what I could see? I could see Tampa taking Levis.
I could see
Mayfield. I know they got Mayfield, but I think that they could take Levis and have him sit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because Detroit's not going to take him right here.
You think Detroit moves down again?
I don't. I think they'll make this pick.
I see a lot of people on Twitter still saying that McDonald was a reach and Forbes was a reach, but I'm just telling you that right now the NFL their boards are completely different than our mock draft communities are. That's what I'll say. Levis looks sad. Somebody cheer him up with a banana. Oh, God.
I totally forgot that I placed a bet that Devon Witherspoon would go top 5. And I did. And I just checked and I've got like $155 in my like DraftKings. I was like, where did that come
from? That's awesome. Those are the best where you're like, oh, I forgot.
I hit on that. I hit on that. I said that Will Anderson would be drafted 3rd and that CJ Stroud would be drafted 2nd.
Wow.
Good for myself. I literally did not remember.
Damn.
That.
Okay. Flex is Kraft over there.
Yep. Flex is Kraft. That's what they call me.
Yep. So
Detroit pick is in, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's gotten a little quiet. I wonder. They tell them to stop tipping picks or something.
The NFL does not like it when people tip picks.
No.
Understandably, but we love it.
I just realized Alexis has a pillow with my childhood crush on it this whole time.
Who said that?
Garrett Bishop.
Oh, Garrett, Aubrey Plaza. She's the best. She's my hero. And then over here, well, unless you were talking about Betty White or Lucille Ball. I'm assuming you're talking about Aubrey Plaza because Betty White and Lucille Ball aren't in frame.
Oh, man.
But this pillow right here has Betty White and Lucille Ball on it. You just can't see it.
Oh, my God.
What?
Jack Campbell.
Okay, that is also a reach.
What?
Detroit, what are you doing? My God.
Jack Campbell?
Not that I feel bad, but
I don't think this is a linebacker class that should have gone in the first round at all. But if there was one linebacker, I did have a first round grade on Drew Sanders. That's who probably should have gone. Jack Campbell, I don't know. I don't see it. I have a third round grade on him. I don't know, man. That feels like a legitimate, like we're talking about mock drafts being reaches and they're not the board and everything. Jack Campbell going ahead of Drew Sanders to me is a little surprising. But also like 18, I don't know. I don't think Holmes was dissing Snead. No, I think he was just talking. He got misquoted, Samuel. I think he got misquoted. I don't think he was dissing Snead.
Well, I can't imagine who's going to be there at 36.
It was going well, and now I don't even know. I don't ask for much. I'm just asking for the Rams to not trade up and take Will Levis.
Please, God.
That's where I'm at right now. I just look. I don't mean to hate on the guy. I know I'm bagging on him, but in all honesty, I just don't want them to take a quarterback. Do you know why, Alexis? Because all the good quarterbacks are off the board. Okay, I don't see the point of taking a quarterback this high. Go out and get Jaron Hall in the 5th round and call it a day. Go out and sign, AJ McCarron as your backup out of the XFL, or sign, Ben DiNucci, or sign Carson Wentz. But please do not go and get Will Levis just because the connection with God, no. Like, I would be so annoyed if that happened. We don't need Mayo, man. Yeah, I want to feel bad, but like he brought the whole mayonnaise thing on himself. So like I don't.
We need to bring back shame.
Someone said we need to bring back bullying, and Will Levis is the reason. And I'm like, oh my God, man.
People are starting to get a little too comfortable with these things that they should not be comfortable with.
Yeah, the whole safe space thing has been taken too far.
Like, listen, I know that my pizza order is bizarre, but a lot of people have tried it and liked it.
I'm not the only person
that likes it.
I think it's the most bizarre pizza I've ever seen, but like there are ingredients that have gone on a pizza before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
I disagree with you.
Beverage.
Yeah, like I disagree with you saying like it's good, right? But it's your opinion, right? So I respect it. I'm gonna bag on you, but it's all in fun. But Will Levis, my friend, mayo does not go in coffee. That is never in the history of human, like,
I also want to know.
That's never existed.
I want to know how that idea came about. Like, what made him be like, I want to put lard in my coffee today? And not only that, then he did it and he liked it.
Yeah.
That's concerning to me.
Just think about how much pain the Rams organization, their social media account could put us in by just putting a bottle of mayo as their like.
So Jason, yes, I do like peanut butter and jelly wings. They are good. It's not actually peanut butter and jelly, for everyone wondering. It's hard to explain, but it's like a Thai peanut butter sauce wing, and then you dip it in jam. And then Ramrod says that my pizza is good. He just likes to poke fun. Thank you. It is good. It's sweet and salty. It's pineapple and black olives, guys. It's normal, okay? I mean, it's not normal, but it's good. The Bucks took Kalijah Kancey.
Okay. So he's going to get paired with Greg Gaines in the trenches there. And that's, quick off the ball, really good first step. Undersized, air quotes needed. We're still doing that whole undersized thing. We haven't gotten, the idea that the size barrier has been broken. But you have Greg Gaines, you got Vita Vea, you got Logan Hall. Now you bring Kalijah Kancey, Deidre Sennett's in there. I like the pick. I mean, it's not where I expected them to go. I expect them to go with the tackle, but the problem is, who are you going to draft at this point? Anton Harrison might be a little bit of a reach. So, yeah, that's interesting. And I think that and it's also, here's another funny thing, okay? Undersized defensive tackle on the Buccaneers. It sounds like Warren Sapp, not Aaron Donald. Everyone's going to say, oh, he's the next Aaron Donald. No, that sounds like they just drafted Warren Sapp again. I don't know. But that is pick 19 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That means Seattle is on the clock. We're trying to keep up with this ticker here.
Someone said they think that Seattle's going to take Nolan Smith.
Oh my God, Nolan Smith is still there.
Knowing Seattle, they're going to take Michael Mayer and just like absolutely just destroy me. They're just going to put the finger in my face and be like, we took Devon Witherspoon, and guess who we're taking next, Alexis? Could you imagine?
I know.
I would cry on this live stream. People, don't make me nervous with Levis to the Rams. I will absolutely lose my mind. I will go ballistic if that happens. Imagination, I hope that they don't do that. Someone said we need Michael Mayer. Honestly, I don't foresee this happening. But if Michael Mayer fell out of the first round, I'm all for it. I really believe, and guys, this is the only Notre Dame player I'm high on in this draft, as much as I, like Notre Dame. This just isn't a good class for them. I really think Michael Mayer is like a generational tight end. And I've been saying that for years. I know Jake likes Laporta more, but I Laporta is like my 5th best tight end in the draft. I see him very differently. But Mayer to the Rams, could you imagine?
I like Mayer. I think the Rams need to focus on the defense with their first few picks. Because I think this draft is littered with talent at tight end, at wide receiver. I think you really need to hit it home on edge early on. You need to go after, corner. I think you need to. I mean, did you do a Rams mock?
Yeah.
Who was your selection? Because I had them trading down from 36 to 47 and taking DJ Turner.
I didn't do trades because as I mentioned, I don't pay for the trade feature. I had them taking Aid Tomia from Northwestern, the edge.
Oh. Adetomiwa Adebare?
Yeah. I get everyone's name wrong.
No one gets that name right. I've spent 2 days trying to get that name right, and I finally did. And so I'm flexing.
They just never.
Live.
Also, when you watch film, it's like they never say their names. You never get the audio when you're watching their tape. I feel like, unless you go like look up their highlights.
That's true, because if you watch tape, which like I watch plenty of tape, but if you watch tape, you're not going to hear it. No, what I do is I just like look it up on like Google. I'll just be like, how to pronounce, because I used to call him Adetomiwa Adebawar, and I found out that it's actually Adebare. So it's spelled like Adebawar, which honestly kind of sounds kind of cool, but Adebare is pretty cool. He is a freak. He ran a 4.49 at 280 pounds. Everyone's calling Kalijah Cansey the next Aaron Donald, but no one seems to talk about the Northwestern guy. I think the Northwestern guy's better. Call me crazy. I actually have Adebare going in the first round. I had him going off the board at pick 18, I believe, to the Lions. So Cansey, is here. I had Cansey going to the Ravens, but I think Adebare goes in the first round. Now, one tweet I put out this morning, because I don't sleep, but
wait, hold on a second. Has a wide receiver not been taken?
No.
Wow.
I kept saying this. I kept saying the first receiver that I have going is Zay Flowers, and I have him going at pick 21 to the Chargers. Like I really expected this, but yeah. So prospects I think will fall out of the first round that the mock draft community doesn't. I had Jamir Gibbs, who I was wrong about. I had Bryan Bresee. I had Jordan Addison, Cam Smith, and Hendon Hooker. Prospects I think go in the first round that mock draft community doesn't. Adetomiwa Adebawore, Mazi Smith, Jalen Hyatt, Osiris Torrance, and Anton Harrison. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I was wrong about Gibbs.
What if Seattle takes Levis here?
I could see that. I would prefer it, but I also think they're going to take Myles Murphy. Bolster that defense.
Yeah, I think they're going to take him or Nolan.
Oh, no, they're going to take Nolan Smith. I forgot Nolan Smith is still available. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. That is so awful.
They didn't trade the pick. The pick is in. Mina Kimes is saying it's Nolan Smith. And
she's connected to Seattle. It's JSN.
It is?
Yep. And on Off the Edge with Cameron Lynch, he and I both did a full NFL mock draft, and he actually had JSN going. There's the day one issues. We always have technical difficulties on day one. I don't know what it is, but anyway, Cameron Lynch, my co-host on Off the Edge, had JSN going to the Seattle Seahawks at pick 20. And I think it makes sense because you get a slot guy. You have DK on the outside. You got Tyler Lockett. You can have him and JSN be interchangeable. Then you have your, big, like, I don't know, gadget guy at, your fourth wide receiver with D. Eskridge. So I think this makes sense for the Seahawks. I definitely don't mind it. I would have preferred it was Will Levis as a Rams fan, but as a NFL fan, this is a good pick for Seattle. I have other higher grades on other, wide receivers, but I knew that, JSN would go higher than I have him. But I think with what you're looking at, I mean, he's arguably the best route runner in this draft. So, that's worth something.
He's my wide receiver number 1. And Seattle makes a good pick, which I hate, but
I think the big issue I had with him is that when you look at, Jackson on tape, not a great blocker, he's not even a willing blocker, really. He's a great route runner, can make plays after the catch, doesn't really, come down with contested opportunities in, one-on-ones. And I'm really concerned that the 10 games that he missed with a hamstring injury, like, that concerned me. So I don't know. I have questions about his durability, but the year before with guys on that team, Garrett Wilson was on the team, Olave, he led the team in receiving. He had an incredible season in 2021. So if JSN can get back to that and he is that guy in the NFL, the Seahawks just got an absolute stud. What does the chat think about that? DK Lockett and JSN, crazy. JSN to the Seahawks. Yeah, I thought they would go. I'm actually surprised they went with JSN over Nolan Smith. So now pick 21. And we're looking.
I'm withdrawing my money that I won from those picks to save myself from wasting it on more pick predictions. Just wanted everyone to know that I'm responsible. I would love to see the Chargers take Michael Mayer. I'm going to keep saying it. Levis is like crying. I feel bad, but it's like...
Is he really crying?
I mean, I'm going to send you the picture that I see, and you interpret what this is right here.
Okay. I think he's laughing.
I would hope so.
I think they got him in a screen cap where he's laughing, and that'll be memed for eternity.
I mean, there's a lot of pictures of him just looking very angry, and I get it, especially when you go there physically to the draft.
I don't think he should have gone to the draft, and I wish, I don't know. I wish there was teams more upfront about that. So I'm getting reports and I'm hearing that the Rams are very high on Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. And if he's there, I think they would go after him if he's available. Based on what I'm hearing. Some scoops in here. I was allowed to say that.
I don't dislike him. He's my 3rd overall tight end. Chargers
I think
pick
the thing with Kincaid is that he is a big slot receiver that he's a good tight end, but he's a receiving tight end. He's probably the best pure receiving tight end in the draft. But my thing is he's going to have to develop as a blocker. And I think the Rams are willing to be acceptable of that if they were to go out and get him, because the way I see it is that this is to help you now. He can play right away. And this is post Tyler Higbee. And it took Tyler Higbee a while. Remember, Tyler Higbee was just a pass catcher. And it took Tyler Higbee a while to get things going. And then when Tyler Higbee finally, developed, now all of a sudden he has a well-rounded game and is a blocker.
The Chargers took Quentin Johnston.
I love that for them. So I had Zay Flowers, a different wide receiver, coming off the board here, but they decided to go with big Quentin Johnston, who needs to get better at using his overall physical traits. But this guy can make plays after the catch and, can really break tackles and can stop and start. You just don't normally see guys at that size that play with that much agility.
So Baltimore's on the clock. And I would love for them to take an offensive lineman or a linebacker. Because I did place a bet on that. So
there we go. So Yeah, I think Flowers would have made more sense to diversify the room. I think you kind of already have Quentin Johnston on the roster in Mike Williams, but Mike Williams does a better job of using his overall body, ball tracking skills, physicality. I don't know. I would have gone with Quentin Flowers or Quentin Flowers. That was a quarterback. I would rather have gone with Zay Flowers. But Quentin Johnston he's a good player. I mean, I think this is a little bit of a little, I don't know. I could have seen him going to
he was my second receiver, so he was the second one taken. So
he was my seventh receiver. Jackson Smith and Jigbo was sixth. Addison was my fifth. I have Zay Flowers as my fourth. I think Jalen Hyatt's the best receiver in this draft. I really do. I believe that.
I think Baltimore could take Anton Harrison. I think they could take like Osiris Torrance. I had them taking, let me pull up my Nolan Smith. They could still take Nolan Smith.
Yeah, the fact that he's still there.
I do think his injury is concerning to teams. I think that's kind of what we're seeing. Do you think the Rams would take Nolan Smith if he fell out of the first round? Which I don't think is going to happen, by the way, but I'm just saying if he did.
No, because I think they are really sold on Kincaid.
See, I kind of think the Bengals like Kincaid.
Well, what I'll say is this. If the Rams... they could just really like him and think that, like, if he's there, cool, but they're not really expecting him to. Like, they might even trade up. Like, that's the thing. I could see them trading up and getting Kincaid if they like him enough. And for those out there that are, like, a little worried about the Gerald Everett thing, he's way more polished than Gerald Everett. Way more polished than Gerald Everett coming out. So, I think there's definitely something to be said.
You know what? I could see Baltimore taking Zay Flowers. I know they just signed Odell Beckham Jr., but you sign Lamar to that huge extension. You build around him, give him weapons.
Flowers, Odell, Rashad Bateman. Am I missing somebody?
Well, those would be the main three. Mark Andrews with the Sir tight end.
Well, yeah, Mark Andrews, but didn't they get another guy? Aguilar. That's who they signed.
Oh. Yeah, well.
It's a lot of speed. It's a lot of speed. I think all those guys are in the 4.4s. Maybe Bateman ran a 4.5.
I still think that, you sign Lamar now, protect him, get an offensive line. Maybe do like a Nolan Smith on the edge. They're still on the clock. Someone in the chat said Will Levis to the Vikings. I actually could see that.
I hope so.
Anywhere but the Rams. At this point.
Bateman ran a 4.39. I didn't know that. My bad, Alexis. I thought he ran a 4.5.
The Ravens still haven't made the pick. I wonder if they're going to trade down.
Brian Branch is still there. Damn.
All I know is if Michael Mayer ends up a Dallas Cowboy, I am going to not be happy.
Well, I think it's going to happen. I don't know. It's funny to me because I actually, if Kincaid is there, like, I don't know if I would trade all the way up right now for him, but if he's there, maybe pick 28 and that's who you want. I'll move up 8 spots, give you a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder next year for it.
I just don't. I mean, I'm just not as high on Kincaid as I think as everyone else. It sounds like, because I just would not trade in. I wouldn't even consider trading in the first round for him. The Ravens pick is in, by the way. No one's reporting it yet, but it's just that it's in.
Oh, Ravens are getting Zay Flowers.
Yep. Good call.
Oh, man.
Well, to me. I was bragging to myself. I don't know who I was talking to. But, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Like, I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson. They're going for it.
They are, really, and you just got Lamar Jackson, that 5-year deal. That's all taken care of. Now you go out, you get Lamar another weapon there. Bateman was a great pickup in the past, so we'll see what ends up happening with his overall development. Odell is going to be a baller this year, I believe it. You have Mark Andrews, obviously, and the guy that's now everyone's favorite meme, Likely. So Isaiah Likely, but no, I think I really like what they're doing there, and I wouldn't rule out them getting another receiver either. But I mean, now you have Beckham, you have Flowers, you have Bateman, you have Aguilar, you have Prochet, you have Tylan Wallace, you have Devin Duvernay. I think they're feeling pretty good. They got Mike Thomas that can help them on special teams, Andy Isabella. So I think they're feeling pretty good about this position right now, and I think the next position, next pick, maybe they go after the interior defensive line, go after, maybe helping out that offensive line a little bit. I do like some of the guys they have on it, but they are a little bit older. Morgan Moses, they could go out and maybe get a tackle if they don't believe in Daniel Falele. I think he definitely deserves some time to develop, but no, I like what the Ravens are doing here. I really do.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Now, it's funny. I thought this was going slow, and I just realized we're on pick 23.
Yeah,
so
this is going very... Because
I think it's going pretty fast.
Last year, it went very late. This is not going that late.
I think when we got to the 20s, Alexis, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 11:30. Like, it was crazy. We ended at like 1 a.m. And right now it's 10:46. So...
Yep.
I just think that Zay Flowers and OBJ, it's funny, I compared Zay Flowers to Antonio Brown, but I saw some Odell Beckham Jr. in his game. his ability to make plays after the catch. But the one thing that you're getting with Zay Flowers that isn't talked about enough is just that ferocity. Like he plays with this tenacity where he is going to block. He doesn't care that he's 5'9". He's going to take you on one-on-one in a block, and he's going to slam your ass to the ground. That is what he does. He's a dog, man. So, yeah, I like him.
So Minnesota's up, and it could be Levis. Receiver, you would think maybe, but I don't know. I mean, maybe Jalen Hyatt. Brian Branch, safety.
Yeah, I think... So for me, I had them taking Quentin Johnston. Now that he's gone, I could see Jalen Hyatt here. Because Hyatt can play off of Justin Jefferson. He can stretch the field. They still have KJ Osborne, who they really like. They drafted Jalen Naylor last year in the 6th round, who they like. I could see it. I'm not saying that's where they'll go, but I could definitely see it. I think right now.
Please just take Levis for us, Minnesota.
I'll say this. I don't think the Rams are going to get Levis. I don't think that's what they're eyeing, because hearing about Kincaid kind of just proves that they want to go all in on the offense. That's what that proves. And getting Levis is not going all in on the offense. You're getting an offensive player that isn't ready to play.
I mean, what do they think is going to happen to their defense?
I don't know, but they have plenty of opportunity to go defense heavy throughout this draft. There's going to be guys there, but I mean, I think Kincaid would definitely help out that offense for sure. Nolan Smith is falling down boards.
I could see Jacksonville taking Nolan Smith too, similar to what they did with Myles Jack. Looks like someone in the Minnesota war room is making a call.
Yeah, Edwin, it's not a great safety class. Bryan Branch is the only one, but there's also a lot of teams that view him as a corner. So that's the thing. If those of you who are following along or aren't following along, I'll post a link in the comment section. I have a big board here. Sorry, I posted in your account again. It keeps doing that.
No, it's showing in yours.
No, it does it for all three of the ones that are streaming on. But yeah, for those of you that are watching and want to follow along with my board, I have a board already made, but I'm updating. There's an elimination board, and when a guy gets picked, I black out the name. So now I'm way behind, to be fair, so I'm catching up as we speak, but yeah. We got Alexis has left the building. Yep, so it'll just be me. She'll come back. Let's see.
My Wi-Fi.
What's going on over there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're all here for you if you need any emotional support.
Dang, it's my Wi-Fi is just terrible.
Yeah, it's a tough scene, but we're getting through it.
Minnesota announced the pick already.
Yeah, for real. So I think we're pretty caught up on the elimination board. You can see who's available based on my board. I've blocked out all the names that aren't available. The best available right now on my board is probably Brian Branch or Nolan Smith, I would say. You just click on the link that I put in the comment section. That's the board. And there are different tabs, and you can go to different tabs and see what's going on. So, for instance, I have a team needs tab, shows all the teams and their needs. I'm not updating that throughout there's no chance in hell I'm doing that, but I have them going into the draft.
The Vikings took Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, the wide receiver out of USC, the Biletnikoff Award winner in 2021 from Pitt, transfers after Kenny Pickett goes to the NFL, goes to USC, has a really good year, doesn't have the touchdown production that people were looking for, but this guy is an outstanding route runner. He's a true slot receiver. I think he's going to help them out, but I think he can play on the outside. Alexis, I compared him to Devontae Smith.
Interesting. I'm trying to look at my rankings for wide receiver. I had
him fifth.
Fourth.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jackson. I had JSN, Quentin Johnston. Then I have Jalen Hyatt. Then Jordan Addison. Then Zay Flowers.
There's been a run on receivers just now. A huge run. That's 4 straight receivers, Alexis. So after not seeing a lot of receivers, then you get 4 right off the bat there.
So what, you think Jalen Hyatt's next? Who's up next? Jacksonville?
The Giants, right?
No, Jacksonville and then the Giants.
Oh, Jacksonville, then the Giants. Gotcha. Jacksonville here. They've been mocked corners and guards. And by guards, I mean Osiris Torrance, who you would probably be okay with because he plays in Florida. I'm not going to lie. I think Torrance is probably where I would go here. But Deonte Banks is an absolute stud. Oh, there's a trade. There's a trade here.
Who traded with him?
The Giants have traded up 1 spot. I always laugh at that.
Hyatt. I wonder. Well, it's got to be somebody that the Jaguars were going to take.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Because who else is there?
What if it's Michael Mayer?
They just got what's his face?
Waller. I know, but
yeah.
So.
So just bring him in.
I mean. I could see it being a safety because I really felt like the Giants losing Julian Love.
I agree with you, but apparently they want a wide receiver.
So it's got to be Hyatt then.
That's the buzz, I guess. They're pick swaps. So the Giants move up one spot. They swap the 240th pick and the 160th pick. So they're moving their 160 down to 240. The Jaguars. All right. I would do that if I'm Jacksonville. Absolutely.
I'd like to see this be Brian Branch.
I would like this to not be Hyatt. And I'm not saying the Rams will draft Hyatt, but I would just like to, if Hyatt can make it, and the Rams, because if they're all in on, if they really like Kincaid, then I don't know. I would like Hyatt to be there just in case. I mean, that's who I would pick personally, but I just saw your tweet. It was just LMAO to the Jack Campbell pick. Nothing against him, but like
it's not against him. It's the pick.
I just don't really know what the Lions are doing.
I don't know what the Lions are going for this draft, to be honest, but
they're on a mission. We just don't know what that mission is.
It's a mission that only they know.
Well, the good news is we know the Giants are staying put here. That's what we know. They didn't just trade up to then trade. Maybe they did. I don't know. Not expecting it, though.
Please take Michael Myers so the Cowboys don't. I can't have that in my life.
It is Deonte Banks.
Wow.
I have him in my notes. One of the most athletic cornerbacks to ever come out of the NFL draft.
I like that
okay.
down.
Yeah, I actually low-key really like that. That's a good... I mean, I'm surprised they went with him over Branch, but I really like Deonte Banks.
I think that the Jaguars should take Branch.
That honestly aligns pretty well. What if they were... That could be it too. Like, what if Jacksonville was kind of like, we can't really decide between Branch and Banks, so we'll make the Giants decide for us. We'll trade down.
That could have been it. Well, Jacksonville's on the clock, and I assume that they're going to make the pick because they just traded down one spot. Although I could kind of see Jacksonville taking Hyatt. They lost DJ Chark. Well, a while ago.
I don't know. Just because they spent a lot of money on receivers. That's the thing.
And I think they should take Branch.
Keep in mind, they traded and they got Calvin Ridley, who is going to be available. Like, he can play now. So Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. They got Jamal Agnew. Although he did kind of fumble away with the potential of winning that game against the Chiefs. But yeah. Just want to say thank you guys for being so fantastic. We just hit our third. I can't even talk. We just hit our third hour of doing this, and the numbers, at least from my screen right now, on my channel, We're at over 1,300 views. And we have 244 people in here right now across 3 channels. So we
Amazing.
appreciate that. And, you know, the more the merrier, right? This is just day one. This is pretty good, Alexis, for just day one is what I'm saying, because, you know, obviously the majority of our following, since this is the Downtown Rams live stream, are Rams fans. The Bills just traded.
And I was just about to say that, and this has to be Brian Branch. Or it's going to be an offensive lineman, but
I think the Bills are trading up to get a receiver. I think this might be Hyatt. Yeah, this might be Hyatt.
That would make sense.
I would be very upset if this was Hyatt.
That actually makes a lot of sense, though.
Damn it. They gave up pick 130 to move up 2 spots. Well, they really wanted to move up those 2 spots.
Honestly, I just don't want Hyatt to follow the Chiefs because that would be unfair.
Oh my God. Don't even speak that, because that'll happen.
That's what I've been scared of, and I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Someone said Bills taking tight end, ? I think they really like Dawson Knox, but maybe. I think now in the league nowadays, it's super common to have kind of 2 top tight ends. Maybe they don't view Dawson Knox as like a true tight end 1, but I kind of felt that the Bills also might go offensive line, protect Josh Allen a little more. There's going to be a lot of talent available, though. If the Rams don't trade up, even if they just stay where they're at. A lot of talent.
I really don't want them to take Hyatt. Really don't want the Bills to take Hyatt here. And I feel like with this wide receiver run, there's a little bit of a break here, and I think the Bills are trying to get out in front of the other teams before they grab another wide receiver. So I think
the Bills have drafted Dalton Kincaid.
Oh my God.
Jake's brief Ram dream is dead.
It wasn't my Ram dream. I was just like, okay, this is cool.
No, I'm actually relieved because I did not want Dalton Kincaid. So I'm relieved right now because I did not want Dalton Kincaid. So whoever said that in the chat, you're correct. Fade Rouge? Fade Rogue? Correct. They did take a tight end.
Makes sense. I mean, I had said it. I was like, I could see them trading up for Kincaid. And, why do you trade up for Kincaid here? Well, the Rams wanted Kincaid. Not going to get too much into it. I don't want to go too crazy, but the Rams really liked him. And I think there's a very good chance the Bills they caught wind of the fact that the Rams are calling around and potentially wanted Kincaid here or, at some point. And so they thought they had to move up. That stings. If they really, really liked him, like I'm hearing, that stings. Now, Dallas also liked him a lot. And I think this sets up Mayer to Dallas, like I've been saying. Because I think Dallas picks Kincaid if he's there. But I think they pick Mayer if Kincaid is not there. Because I think a lot of teams, they value the fact Kincaid can be that big slot tight end. And Dallas already has the blocking. They have guys that can block. So I definitely could have seen Kincaid. But I don't think Mayer is the best blocking tight end in this draft. I think he was used heavily in the receiving game. So I think Dallas will covet that. That's just my thoughts. I mean,
Dallas, don't please.
Apparently now we're spelling Utah with like 1A, but all right. Totally screwed up that spelling. This is the one gaffe I had today. And it only took 25 picks for me to mess it up. All right, so let's update this board. Nolan Smith is still there. Branch is still there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Branch is still there. By the way, Branch is a safety, can also play corner. A lot of teams actually view him as a corner. Kincaid is the first tight end off the board. He was my number 3 tight end. And
he was my number 3 tight end as well.
Yeah, I have Mayer and Laporta ahead of him.
What if Dallas took like Anton Harrison?
I mean, I could see that.
Is Terrence Steele their?
Yeah, no, I could absolutely see that. Actually, now that you bring that up, I could see Bergeron as well. Fun fact: a lot of teams in this draft, I've been told, really like Bergeron as a guard, and they think he's a plug-and-play day one starter at guard. And there are some teams that like him at tackle, but they're willing to go through the growing pains of him playing tackle. But he's physical, he's athletic. I could see that being the case. And yeah. We'll see what Dallas does here. Then we got the Jags picking at 27.
The Cowboys reporter for the Dallas Morning News just said the Cowboys are not taking a tight end here.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if he's saying that as in his source.
Or if he's just like, they're not taking a tight end here. Wink, wink.
Please, God. Not Michael Mayer. Two tight ends in Buffalo, Dalton and Dawson.
It's just really fascinating. If the Rams really like Dalton Kincaid that much, then is it the tight ends that they're looking at, or is it like weapons? Because at that point, Laporta, Mayer, Tucker Kraft becomes interesting later on. Jalen Hyatt.
Well, I wonder if they're a little iffy on Higbee.
It's not that they're iffy on Higbee. Like, it's just that long term, Higbee's contract is up after the year. You know what I mean? So they like him, but the realistic thing is that Higbee might not be back. So, but I'm just saying if they're looking offensive weapon, that changes things. Because if they're just looking at tight end, okay. But if they're looking at offensive weapon, you got wide receivers Marvin Mims, Jaden Reed, Tyler Scott, Rashee Rice, like I mentioned, Jalen Hyatt, Charlie Jones, A.T. Perry. Running backs also are part of that mix as well. Like when it becomes a weapon instead of a tight end, now it's just offensive. So that'll be interesting. But also it could have just been like he's the best player available for them. He's the guy that they really targeted. I find that really fascinating.
I mean, I still think they should go defense.
Yeah.
Cowboys are still on the clock. They could have wanted Kincaid, and now that he's gone, they could be trying to trade out.
That could definitely be the case. I wouldn't rule out anything at this point. Wouldn't do it.
Still
I will
on the
say
clock, under 2 minutes.
We're getting closer and closer to hitting that 300 viewer mark. We're at 277.
You know what I bet it is? I bet it's because we are now at the point where if the Rams were going to trade into the first, because the Rams, including the second, they are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks away.
Yeah.
The Rams are 10 picks away. So you never know. I don't think that
you
they
never
will,
know.
But
no, you're dead on about that. You never know. Just when you think you know, you don't.
The Cowboys have still not submitted a pick with 1:30 left on the clock.
That's weird.
Kendall, yes. The tight end that he was talking about was Dalton Kincaid, but Dalton Kincaid got drafted by the Bills. "53 seconds left. The pick is not in." Pick is in. Okay, they made the pick. They're all clapping and cheering and hugging. Please.
And you're like, get it over with. Oh, man.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just... And that means Jacksonville's on the clock. The Cowboys took Nolan Smith.
Of course they did.
Thank you,
boy.
God. Well, good pick for them with Nolan.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. The rich get richer.
Wow. If I were them, I honestly would have taken Anton Harrison. I just think their right tackle situation is very weak, but interesting.
It's a really good pick. Nolan Smith is my third edge on the. He's number 1 on the board right now. But wait, no, that's not where they're going.
That's
I think
what I'm seeing reported.
I think they're picking. Oh, there's 2 things being.
Oh, I see Mazi Smith.
It's Mazi Smith. Oh, so you got the wrong Smith. That's what's happening.
I'm seeing 3 separate Nolan Smith. Okay, now, yeah, and I see Mazi Smith. People are just getting the Smiths confused.
Oh, boy.
I need the TV to clear it up for me. Which Smith is it?
I'm going to go with Mazi Smith. I think Nolan Smith. Yeah, it's Mazi Smith.
All right.
Nolan Smith is still alive, everyone.
Should have known better than to trust Dov Kleiman. God.
My God.
Whatever. It's not Michael Mayer. I can sleep peacefully. Okay, so Jacksonville. I think I could see Jacksonville taking Osiris Torrance here.
Yeah. This is funny the way you trust Dov Kleiman.
I should have known better.
You ever see that video? Who is this guy? I look him up and he doesn't exist. This man is not real. Oh.
You know what's interesting about that Cowboys pick is Mazi Smith, I'm pretty sure, is the one who had like gun charges. I don't want to say this actually without it being true. Didn't he have, or is it the other defensive lineman from Michigan?
You might be right. You might be.
It was Mazi Smith.
Yeah. No,
what did we
right.
talk about earlier in this stream? Cowboys taking people with records. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying that he was charged and with a misdemeanor.
All right. So this was the deal with Mazi Smith. He slid off. Probably could have been picked higher, but
right?
He was arrested for a felony gun charge October 2022. That was later reduced to a misdemeanor. He was pulled over for going 50 miles per hour in a 25 mile an hour zone. Police found a handgun and multiple magazines of ammunition in the car. Gun was legally purchased, but he didn't have his concealed license at the time. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
I've honestly not looked into it. I'm not gonna knock him for it.
Yeah.
Into it, but I just know that I remember hearing that he had something like that was causing him to fall, and those are typically the players that the Cowboys go after. Is they'll take the guy that other teams are like, You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I think, shout out to Mazi Smith, right? He got drafted, and, I'm not trying to trash his character. I think, if anything, I defend him because, it's one of those things where
player.
He's a great player, but also people are going to talk about the gun charge. But like for me, he had a gun in his car. I think a lot of people have guns in their cars that they own them. It's like for protection. You know what I mean? And it was registered. So, yeah, he didn't have his concealed carry. He also wasn't carrying it in public. So, I don't know. I think it's one of those things. It's probably not even... I don't think anybody is looking at that as a character concern. But it did potentially cause him maybe to fall a little bit. But I like this pick for Dallas. I'm surprised they went this route.
Jacksonville's pick is in, by the way. And like I said, I think it should be Osiris Torrance.
Jackson, yeah, I can see that.
I could see like a Cam Smith here too,
or
like Brian Branch.
I could. Joey Porter Jr. hasn't gone, right? I don't think he's gone. It's Anton Harrison. Oh man, if you need a tackle, and you're sitting there, like hoping Anton Harrison's going to fall. Well, I hate to break it to you, but the best on my board is Blake Freeland in the second round. I don't think you're getting one in the first round at this point. This is a good pick. Anton Harrison can be your long-term, guy to protect Trevor Lawrence. I think with Harrison, he's got a really high ceiling, and he's a little raw, but I think he could win a camp battle. I think this guy could be playing, as early as week 1.
Well, they definitely want to protect Lawrence, so they're doing the job.
I like this more than the Walker Little pick from, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I'll say that right now. I did not like that pick. I did not get the hype. I don't know.
So since
we were right,
now,
they went offensive line though. They just didn't get the guy that you and I were expecting.
By the way, I think that this pick for Cincinnati could be Michael Mayer.
Interesting.
Because I think they liked Dalton Kincaid.
I could see that. I could very much see that.
Since Dalton Kincaid is no longer there, they could still go tight end. I could also see this being Cam Smith.
I could see that as well.
Maybe Bryan Branch. They lost Jesse Bates. Did they replace him with anybody, though? Yes, they did. What's his name? Right? Didn't they have a free agent signing at safety?
I'm sorry. I was just reading something. What team were you talking about?
Cincinnati. Because they lost
the Bengals.
Jesse Bates. Yeah.
Yeah, they signed Nick Scott.
Yeah. But, do we think that would prevent them from drafting a safety? Not to knock Nick Scott, but...
I mean, they're only paying him $1 million this year, but...
That's what I'm saying. Do you think they could just go get Bryan Branch? Do you think they would still do it?
I think they would take him because he's got the positional versatility. I could see, like you're saying, I totally see Mayer going there with tight end. I could see Musgrave actually going. I could see him getting somewhat overdrafted. I think he's a second rounder with hardly any production. I think it's all projection at that point, but he has good tape. But I think also they could go with Jalen Hyatt. And the reason I say that is because the whole T. Higgins deal with that contract, what's that going to look like? It changes. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. They have Cam Taylor-Britt. They have Chidobe Awuzie. They have Mike Hillen. They're good at corner. At safety, they have Nick Scott and Dax Hill. It is a 3-safety league. And so with that said, yes, I actually think that to your point, as I just slam my arm against the microphone. To your point, I do think that Bryan Branch would make sense.
I'm not sure just because, like I said, we know the Bengals really like Dalton Kincaid, or that's what everyone was reporting. He's gone. Do they still want? I think tight end is a need for them. I mean, they have. Did Hayden Hurst resign?
Hayden Hurst is not on the team, no. I forget where he went. Carolina?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
So they really need to have, I think, a tight end. So yeah, it could be Mayer. Could be Darnell Washington. I had the Bengals taking Forbes, but he's gone, so.
Yeah, sadly, Forbes, McDonald, the guys that I liked, they're all gone.
Oh, wait. Joey Porter is still available. Oh, the Bengals took Myles Murphy. Interesting. So the Bengals take Myles Murphy. That means New Orleans up.
I like that. He kind of fits that Sam Hubbard. Honestly, he makes a lot of sense because Trey Hendrickson, big free agent signing, Sam Hubbard. I think you have him, Joseph Asai, Cam Sample. I think that adding him to that room makes sense. The question is, are they going to look at him as a defensive tackle or defensive end? I could see teams wanting to kick him in defensive tackle, but I think he's good enough to play defensive end and play off the edge. So
I think the Saints might go Joey Porter Jr.
I
also think they might trade out. But
yeah, the Saints are an interesting one. I had them taking Mazi Smith. I think they could, a guy that would fit their type of profile they kind of go after. I would say Felix Anudike-Uzomah could be in play here. Now, I know people probably don't want to hear that, but I do think he could be in play.
It's interesting that, Levis is going to fall out of the first round if nobody trades up.
Makes sense, though. To me, he was always a second round talent, in my opinion. It's not a knock on him. I just didn't get the first round hype.
I don't see the pick in for New Orleans. It's quicker to load on my phone. I don't want Les Snead to get over anxious and take Levis. See who in the chat do you guys think? I could actually see it being Nolan Smith. I could see this being FAU. I would just love for a great edge rusher to fall to us. But I'm going to be really angry if a great edge rusher does fall to us and the Rams don't take him. Which is a fear, or very real fear that I have, but... I'm looking at the chat. I do not think the Rams would trade up for Nolan Smith. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I just don't think that they will. I don't think the Rams are going to trade up for an edge rusher, although...
No, I think the Rams are done tonight. I think they really liked Kincaid, and I think that's it. I think they're done. Now, just a reminder, the reason you'll start to see teams want to trade at the back end of the first round, be like, why not just wait until the second? The reason here that you always have to look out for is that these teams are getting that 5th-year option, which is very valuable, right? So right now, we'll see what ends up happening with the Saints. I could see Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I could see Adebawore. I could see Brian Branch. I could see Drew Sanders. The point is that if they don't want to pick here, they can absolutely trade down, and a team could, come up here. There's 2 picks left. So there's a team that could definitely come up and trade to get that 5th-year option.
Saints pick is in.
Okay, so they're not trading?
No one
they are
knows who
not
it is
trading.
Yet.
Oh, man. Bryan Bresee is the pick out of Clemson, and I'm a little surprised he goes ahead of Adebawore, but I like his game. He's a little clumsy. I don't know if that's the right word, but he's a guy who has a lot of power, very heavy hands. He definitely fits what the Saints are looking at, I would say.
I like him. He's a good player. He was my 2nd or 3rd overall.
Yeah, he's
interior defensive lineman.
He's 3rd for me behind Adebawore. But I think you and I have Adebawore viewed differently. I view him more as an interior defensive lineman. You had him as edge, I think, which I don't think you're wrong. He played both, but it just depends on how you look at him.
Yeah, I think whoever drafts him will probably try him at both.
Yeah, I could see that. We still have 275 people in here, and it's at the freaking end of this draft.
I don't know.
First round anyway. They're not trading in.
I don't think they are either. If they were, it would be with Philadelphia.
Yeah, this is the last pick here.
I'm telling you,
second to last pick.
Kansas City's going to take Jalen Hyatt. I'm telling y'all.
Does ESPN have the pick? I haven't looked at it the whole day, and sure enough, ESPN has the picks wrong. They have them listed incorrectly. Unreal.
Would Philadelphia... So Philadelphia's up next. I think they're going to take Porter Jr., and then I think Kansas City's going to take Jalen Hyatt.
I think Philly or Kansas City is going to take Jalen Hyatt. That's what I think. I think I'm going to be unhappy. That's what I think. Jake is not going to get what Jake wants. I can tell you that right now.
If you're looking at this draft as a whole, right, not just tonight, right, you got Philly, KC, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Detroit, Indianapolis, then the Rams. If Philly and KC don't take Jalen Hyatt, which I don't think is happening, but say that's the case, do you see Pittsburgh, Arizona, Detroit, Indianapolis taking Jalen Hyatt? Because if not, then the Rams get him. Well, they have the opportunity to get him, I should say.
I think there's a real possibility the Rams trade up into the second round. Like, I think they trade up maybe the first pick of the day or the second pick, but I think they're going to trade up from 36. And I think it makes a lot of sense because if you wait at 36, like you said, you're going through these teams that are eyeing the similar things that you're going to be eyeing. I mean, look at the guys that are still available. If you wanted a linebacker, not saying you have to have one, but Drew Sanders offers that ability. And he offers some upside as a pass rusher. Then you have Brian Branch, who's still there, right? You got DJ Turner. You got Joey Porter Jr. You got Cam Smith, right? You got Nolan Smith. You got Felix Anudike-Uzomah. You got Keon White. BJ Ojulari, Isaiah McGuire, Adetami Adebare, Keanu Benton. Then you got all the centers. All of them are available. Joe Tippmann, Ricky Stromberg, John Michael Schmitz, Luke Whippler, all of those guys. Osiris Torrance is still there. Cody Malk is there. Steve Avila. And Anton Harrison's gone. I need to update that. But Michael Mayer's still there. Mayer. Sam Laporta. Jalen Hyatt. Right? All these guys are still there. So, I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely a chance.
The Rams are going to have a plethora of options.
A plethora.
They're going to have options. I don't know what direction they're going to go in. I really would prefer they went defense, but Philadelphia's still on the clock.
I'm updating the elimination board.
This draft went so fast, this first round, guys. I don't know if you guys remember last year. It took so long. I'm just a little, I don't know. I think this is going to be Porter, Joey Porter Jr. for Philadelphia. I'm a little skeptical about him. Oh my God, what if they take Nolan Smith, Jake? What if the Eagles end up with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith?
Makes sense. This whole Georgia connection going on.
Then the rich would be so rich. The Eagles, it looks like they did take Nolan Smith. Hold on, why are people saying this? I'm not seeing it reported.
They took Nolan Smith. Oh my God. Chestnut checkers, man.
God. Unreal. Unreal. And like I've said, I obviously want the Rams to make a turnaround, and I'll always be rooting for them to make the Super Bowl, but man, it's hard to think that it won't be the Eagles again.
To get Nolan Smith,
Why does everyone in the Eagles war room like wearing the same exact suit? I don't know if y'all are seeing this, but
I mean, the Eagles just absolutely dominated the draft. They just ate it alive. Like, what the hell, man? It's only round one, but I mean, that's a hell of a.
Well, Casey's up, Jake, and I hate to break it to you. I think they're going to take Jalen Hyatt.
Yep.
I don't foresee a situation where they don't. Eagles got all Georgia kids. Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. My God. Georgia North, as someone just tweeted. Unreal.
286 people in here. That is crazy. Oh, man. I'm going to eat everything that is available for me to eat when I get off the stream. Oh, God.
Everyone, do not get my hopes up about Michael Mayer to the Rams. Please don't, because you're setting me up to just be crushed when he's available and the Rams don't take him. And then I'm just going to be devastated. So I almost, in a way, need him to be taken. I really think this is going to be Jalen Hyatt. Jake, what do you think? Jalen Hyatt, I don't think they need Brian Branch.
I think it's going to be Jalen Hyatt.
And Kansas City shouldn't even be on the clock. I think this is a no-brainer.
I still can't. Nolan Smith, you got to be freaking kidding me, man. It's just, like I said, the rich get richer. Chess, not checkers. All right. This is the last pick, Alexis. Who's it going to be?
Jalen Hyatt.
So we both think it's Jalen Hyatt.
I don't see how it can't be. I mean, they lost Juju. Like, who do they have? They've got Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Darius Toney. MVS, but I think they need someone else.
I gotta say, not that I'm rooting for it, but I do think if the Rams were to go and get Will Levis, or they were, going to get a quarterback like that, I do think they'd be successful. But that's just, like, I can't stress enough, that's not the guy I want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Will Levis would be terrible on the Rams, but I'm just saying right now, like, and I understand there's a lot of, stuff going on, like, on Twitter right now. Sauce Gardner just put out, Will Levis, it's, God's plan, essentially. You're going to be great, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, like, we have the guys that we like, and this is during the draft. And then after whatever happens, right, we kind of just deal with it. So if there have been prospects you and I have not wanted the Rams to draft, and they've proven us wrong. And then they've also proven us right. You know, I think it goes both ways, you know? So, yeah. Someone just asked, will you guys... Wait, hold on. Are you streaming the next 2 days? Yes. Yes, we are.
The entire draft.
The entire draft.
Every second, every minute.
Every second, every minute. Every pick, every morsel of pizza. There will be pizza on Saturday. No doubt about it.
Hell yeah. And
Day 3 pizza party.
I'm ordering my damn pineapple and black olive pizza. And if
I'm
it
not doing
offends
that.
you, then don't look at the screen.
Yeah, I guess not.
Where is this Kansas City pick? Y'all, I gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up at 5:30. Kansas City also might be trying to trade out.
That's true. Although I feel like this is taking forever. Oh, it makes sense. This is the last pick and everything, so.
There's always going to be some teams that probably inquire for the hell of it.
Yeah. It's a 5th-year option here. That's what's up for stakes, so.
Guys, my pillow... People are saying my pillow is scary. This is Aubrey Plaza. She is one of Time Magazine's top 100 influential people of 2022. Look her up. She's my hero. Yes, she's holding a knife in this picture, but that's why I like it.
I'm updating the board, guys. I apologize. I keep getting behind on it, but Alexis knows what that's like. All the updating and constant thing. I mean, that board looks pretty good for the Rams. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there are some guys that I wish didn't get picked, but I mean, I don't know. Branch is still there. Drew Sanders, Anudike-Uzomah, Adebare, Torrance.
Might take FAU.
I actually had them picking FAU originally, and then I switched it to Hyatt. No. Didn't I? I actually might have picked FAU for them. No, I had them going Anton Harrison. I had Hyatt going to the Eagles.
So the pick is in.
Yeah, it's going to be Jalen Hyatt. We already know.
It's got to be Jalen Hyatt.
Yep. God, playing with freaking Patrick Mahomes and everyone is, dear God. Nope, it's FAU. Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Huh.
That is a good pick. They need some help off the edge, I think. I know it sounds funny to say the Chiefs need help at anything, but they do. And I thought it was a better pick than going quarterback. And that means Will Levis has fallen to the second round and has a chance to be a good value for a team, because clearly a lot of people saw him in the first round, maybe not NFL teams, but a lot of people. And we've seen it before. Sometimes second round picks work out. Sometimes they don't. I got to tell you, though, I feel bad for anybody that goes to the draft as a player and doesn't get drafted on the first night. That has to absolutely suck. And while he might be memeable, he might be funny, Will Levis is a human being. We're not rooting against him. Making that very clear.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, but it's going to contribute to a chip on his shoulder wherever he goes, for sure. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody wrong. Got that fire.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Tomorrow it starts an hour earlier, so tomorrow we will be live at 7 Eastern.
Yeah.
So, and tomorrow night's gonna be a long night because it's this times 2.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be like a late night situation. And the Rams pick.
Yeah, they'll finally pick, and you know that's always nice. And who knows? Maybe they trade up, maybe they trade down. you gotta have to tune in to find out. But that is that's gonna do it. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed this live stream event. And go subscribe to Alexis' channel, the Downtown Rams channel, my channel. And we'll have more content for you tomorrow. Until next time.
Yes, we will.
Later, folks.